Welcome to Dartmouth Memorial Field on the campus of Dartmouth High School as Dartmouth Community Television and DCTV, Dartmouth Community Media, present Dartmouth High School football. Today, the Dartmouth Indians taking on the New Bedford Whalers in the first game of this football season. I'm Paul Santos, so happy to be with you tonight. Beautiful night, temperature about 60 degrees. Joined alongside here by Ian Abreu, and we are both excited to watch this great classic between the arch rivals, Dartmouth and neighboring New Bedford.
Paul, it's great to see you. It's been 15 years since you and I called a game together, a football game together. It's great to be here with you again. Thanks. And I think it seems like 15 years for these young men out here on the field. Can you believe it? It's been 470 days. That's over a calendar year since high school football was played on this field and in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Paul, you and I were looking at both teams, the Whalers and Indians, this evening. We're watching them warm up. We're watching them practice and get ready. They're excited and they're ready to go, and we're excited and ready to go too.
Even though the stands are not open to everybody, you can see there are people in the stands. They have limitations. Each player can only have 2 adults come to the game in their name. They have to sign in. Most of the time it's the 2 parents, but it can be 2 adults. And then the visiting New Bedford team on the other side, they can only have 1 adult come in and root them on the other side. So we're not at full capacity. We are at limited capacity. And it is glad to at least have some folks in the stands. You can see them right there. And the rest of the folks, we're glad to have you looking in right here on Dartmouth Community Media. You can see on the other side, New Bedford, only 1 adult per player. And there are a lot of different rules here today. You see the Dartmouth Indians about to come on the field. The breaks are going to be 2 minutes long, so the timeouts are longer. You even have a water break in the middle of the quarter.
It's not a bad deal, I tell you, but you talk about limited capacity here. It's better than no capacity. We saw that back during the lacrosse, the soccer boys and girls season. We saw that also during the field hockey season. These were empty stadiums in front of these student athletes. It's great to see these parents and fans, at least at a limited capacity, here tonight. It's a good thing to see.
And out on the field, you have that new turf that was put in a couple of years back, but then because of the pandemic last year, really didn't get to play on it. They did play on it the year before. The last game that the Indians played was Thanksgiving 2019, as Ian said, about a year and 4 months ago. So it's really great that the 2 teams will be able to play on this fantastic field that they put in here at Dartmouth High School a couple of years back.
And the Indians are chomping at the bit. Again, as Paul mentioned, this team has not played since 2019, which they finished at 4-7 overall on the season. There'll be a slew of juniors this year on this team that will have major roles for the Indians, as you see Dartmouth head coach Rick White. But you talk about those juniors, it all rests on the shoulders of quarterback and junior Will Kelly, who is up from the junior varsity squad from 2 years ago. Also, we're going to be keeping our eyes on junior Ethan Marks. He will provide a spark out of the backfield, along with juniors Patrick Crane and J.J. Esterlin. So we're looking forward to all of those offensive punches for the Indians. They have a lot of question marks. They're a young team, but they are a very athletic team, and we've seen Will Kelly so far in practices and preseason so far as the training camp goes. I was watching him during the warm-ups. He can sling the ball, and he can run the ball, and I look forward to seeing what kind of a game plan Rick White has cooked up for him in the offense here tonight.
Meanwhile, on the New Bedford side, I had a chance to chat with 6-year head coach Mark DeBrito, who I remember playing, in fact, calling many of his games when he was a wide receiver for the New Bedford Whaler football team. Chatting with him over there, he is excited about his team. They were 8-3 last year, and they have a junior-dominated team as well. A lot of players that were in some games here and there, but never really with the main players. Well, this year it all starts with quarterback number 1, Ryan Dosenberg.
Absolutely. And not only with Dosenberg, but for New Bedford, it really starts with those senior linemen that big beef they have up front with Bill and Bill Yuswa Souza, who are also standard time super teamers back in 2019. And not only do they provide a strong defensive presence, they also provide that veteran leadership on both sides of the ball, and they're going to help with that transition for Dosenberg behind center. Again, as you mentioned, Paul, the juniors really are going to have to step up for the Whalers this year. Junior Jaden Frazier is expected to have a big role out of the backfield, as well as senior Miguel Miggy Rodriguez. So the Whalers are coming off a 8-3 2019 campaign, and head coach Mark DeBerto expects big things out of his team as well. We've got one team that's sort of in a rebuild, young mode in Dartmouth, and we have one sort of veteran-laden team in New Bedford. It should be a very interesting contest here tonight.
Playing 11-minute quarters here, as usual, between Dartmouth and New Bedford. The captain's coming out onto the field for the toss of the coin. That's Miggy Rodriguez, the tailback linebacker for the New Bedford Whalers, and Cole Perry, Landon Soares, for New. No, check that. Cole Perry, yes, for the Dartmouth Indians is the other captain. The other thing we want to let you know is that we have a 10-minute halftime, so we'll be taking a 10-minute break at half, but we will not see the Dartmouth High School band, so that's a little bit different. And you're also going to see on the sidelines, the players are spaced out. The players have to be 6 feet away from each other all the way down the sidelines. So when you look at the sidelines, usually the players are all next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, but they are spaced out by 6 feet, social distancing even on the sidelines. We pause right now to honor America, the playing of our national anthem. Feel excitement and anticipation in the air as Dartmouth and New Bedford ready to go at it in high school football here at Dartmouth Memorial Stadium. Ian Abreu and Paul Santos with you for the call of the action. You know, they created their own league over here, the Southeastern Conference, just for this year. It encompasses Dartmouth, New Bedford, Brockton, Durfee, Bridgewater, Raynham. So Dartmouth's going to play not only New Bedford tonight, but then Brockton, Durfee, Bridgewater, Raynham. And then April 16th and 17th, there will be a round of playoffs encompassing those teams.
And what's interesting is, even though this is a newly fashioned league for this COVID-19 shortened season, it's cool to see because, of course, New Bedford High was the old school Big Three, and you had Dartmouth in the old Colony League. But these kids all grew up playing Pop Warner together. They know each other. There's rivalries here. And we have two old school South Coast area football programs going head-to-head tonight. You've got the New Bedford High Whalers in the visiting white with red lettering and the homestanding Indians in the green with black lettering. And as you see here, Dartmouth will receive the ball to kick things off. And with the play-by-play, here he is, my broadcast partner and friend, Paul Santos.
All right, thank you very much, Ian Abreu. Lots of excitement in the air, as we said, here at the stadium. Dartmouth and New Bedford ready to go at it, kicking off number 40. Gentlemen doing the kicking and also the punting, Ian DaCosta. He is a junior for New Bedford, and he'll be kicking it off to Dartmouth. Ball is collected here at about the 15-yard line. And this is going to be a big return for the Indians. At the 50-yard line, they're still going down to the enemy 42. Huge return that time by Esterlin.
It was a low line drive to the far hash, and it was a, may I use a baseball term, a room service hop. Went right into the numbers, and he scooped that baby up, and he almost took it back to the house. Great blocking up front, and you look at Josh Cecilio, number 12 for New Bedford, tried to catch him, he couldn't, and finally, Abel Alzarujo drags him down, but not before the ball is brought into Whaler territory. Great start for the Indians.
40-yard return that time by Esterlin, and what field position the Indians have. 1st and 10 at the enemy 44 in the first play from scrimmage for the Indians. And it is going to be an option play. The quarterback hangs onto it. The quarterback for Dartmouth High School is number 12, Will Kelly. He is a junior. He was a JV quarterback last year. You see him right there getting the play from head coach Rick White. And Rick was very high on the young quarterback.
He can sling the ball. He can run it. That time you got to give credit to the Whaler defense. They snuffed that out, led by Darius Harrison. And he just came onto the strong side, and it goes for a loss of 2 yards. Great play in the backfield.
2nd and 12 now for Will Kelly and the Dartmouth Indians. Second play from scrimmage for Dartmouth, and Kelly goes back to pass. Has some room, dumps it off, high in the air, almost intercepted. It got popped in the air, and it was almost picked off by TJ Pickering, number 57, Billy Souza. He almost had that one, and almost an interception and almost a turnover.
He was trying to dump it off to Ethan Marks here, and he was trying to draw the defensive line in to get them to commit and dump it off to Ethan to go on the far side. But you got to give credit to the Whalers, especially there was Anderson Cruz, the linebacker for New Bedford, on the coverage, breaks it up, 3rd and long.
3rd and 12 now for Will Kelly. It looks like we have movement on the defensive line. It looked like offside. We'll have to see if there was any movement on the offensive line, but I believe it appears to be an offside on the defense. They're going to talk about it.
Yeah, it seems like Billy Souza, the left side defensive end, sort of breached into the neutral zone area and went into the... No, we're going to have a false start. Wow. All of the Indian sideline here, Paul, as you saw, and all of the Indian players were all in agreement that it was definitely a Whaler infraction, but the Whalers will take it. It's now 3rd and really long at 3rd and 17. The movement clearly did come on the right side of the line, whether it was the right tackle or right guard.
Well, let's see what the Indians come up here with a challenging play at 3rd down and 17 in their first drive. Will Kelly, the junior quarterback, calling signals. Looking to pass it. Lets it go deep down the field as a man, and it's caught at the enemy 25-yard line. Great catch right there. Number 13, Baron Dutra on the reception.
Oh, and this was perfectly drawn up, Paul. You had the play. Will Kelly rolls out to the far side, looking for his man. He saw Baron Dutra had his man beat on a one-on-one foot race. Just gets right out in front of Miguel Rodriguez. And Kelly drops that baby right into the bucket for a huge first down for Dartmouth.
And we have a timeout being called on the field, but what a tremendous pass there by Kelly, because if that ball didn't land exactly where it did, it would not have been caught. I mean, it had to be a thread the needle kind of pass.
And that's what we talked about during the open. The kid can run, but he can also throw the ball, as evidenced right there, running across his body, throwing from right to left. Unbelievable.
Kelly keeps and takes it around the left side. He has 5. He has 10. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at around the 13-yard line. And what a nice play there by Kelly. And you see, this is just a classic example of the fact that Kelly was throwing the ball downfield, and it opened things up for the run game.
And he faked the handoff to Ethan Marks. So as a result of that, he was able to get that Whaler front 4 to commit. They thought that they were running the ball, but he held that ball just ever so lightly and tightly, and just at the right moment, he pulled it back and ran around for a first down.
Well, he got a gain of 9, it looks like. They're spotting it just inside the first down marker, so it's 2nd and 1. But this is an easy first down. In fact, it's a touchdown. Inside handoff, and the Indians are on the board first. Ethan Marks goes in for the score, and Dartmouth gets a 15-yard touchdown run and the early lead.
Ethan Marks straight up the gut, Nothing sexy about this one. This is just pound and ground football, old school. Hand the ball, give the rock to your big guy, and let him do his thing. A 15-yard scamper, and Ethan hits pay dirt. Huge first drive for the Indians, especially when they look to be dead on arrival on that 3rd and 17. That huge pass play set up by Kelly to Dutra, and then, of course, slamming it in at the end to culminate the drive was Marks.
Oliver Taradash doing the kicking here for the Dartmouth Indians, number 11. He is a junior for the Indians, also plays some outside linebacker. He's getting ready to go for the extra point. The holder is the quarterback, Will Kelly. Ball is down, and it's going to have to be carried. Here's Kelly. Here's the throw, and it's incomplete. I don't know if that was a broken play. Probably. It seems unlikely that they would call that early in the game, but Kelly rolled out to his left and just dumped it into the end zone, and it's going to have to be a 6-0 lead that the Indians settle for with 9:24 to go in the first.
Well, hopefully we're not talking about this if you're an Indian fan and the post-game show about, hey, that one play that could have been the difference, but nonetheless, the Whalers now, let's see how they respond. We know they have a very potent offense. I'm curious to see with Dartmouth how they respond now on the the defensive side of the ball. Of course, I would assume that they're going to be fired up now after that tremendous first drive by the Indians. Again, a huge 30-plus yard pass play from Kelly to Dutra, and then Marks pounds it in for a 6-0 lead. Great way to kick off opening day if you're an Indian fan. The weather's great. Standing next to Paul Santos, the famous Paul Santos on New Bedford Guide.
Well, we're chugging along.
But, no, it's good to be back here, and let's see how the Whalers respond here. We know the Whalers have always, for all these years, no matter whatever their record is, they could always, as former head coach and assistant coach Wayne Hamler always says, New Bedford, no matter what, can whack and smack with the best of them. Let's see what they do here as they attempt to counterpunch that first Dartmouth strike.
That was amazing that the Indians were able to come back like that as Oliver Taradash kicks the ball off. Picked up here at about the 15-yard line by New Bedford, and it's Jaden Frazier. Nice return down to the New Bedford High 35-yard line where the New Bedford Whalers will take over 1st and 10. And we'll get our first look at the New Bedford Whalers offense led by junior quarterback Ryan Dozenberg, who is a big gentleman at 6'5", 190.
And I was just going to say that you don't see too many 6'5" quarterbacks here at the high school level in this region. But it's good to see here a young, tall, lanky, athletic quarterback who can run, who can throw, who we know is an excellent athlete. So we were curious to see how Kelly did in his debut before. Let's see how Rosenberg does now on his 2021 debut right now.
Lines up in the shotgun to start here, 1st and 10 for New Bedford. And it's a quick inside handoff, and here again comes number 2, Frazier. Big run by Frazier past the 50 down to the enemy 47-yard line. Big gain for New Bedford on their first play from scrimmage.
And as I talked about during the open, Paul, it all starts with this tremendously talented, veteran-laden offensive line by the Whalers. I mean, good grief, you could have driven a Mack truck through that hole. Great run by Frazier, but even greater coverage and blocking up front by that offensive line. Just check out this front five. They've got some serious beef going on there. Where's the beef? It's on the New Bedford High offensive line.
17-yard gain that time for Frazier. 1st and 10 New Bedford at the Dartmouth 47-yard line, and there goes Frazier again. Looked like he was snuffed out for the moment, and he picks up about 2 yards that time on the play. Got a number of tacklers in there for the Indians. Dan Martin for one.
And Ethan Marks was there as well. The Indians read that well. They saw that they were going to try that handoff on the far side. They were going to try to bubble it out and around. But Ethan Marks, who also doubles as a defensive back, read the play beautifully and is able to only stop it at a minimal 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9.
Out comes Dozenberg. Once again, operating out of the shotgun. New Bedford's always been a team that likes to open things up a little bit. Last time these teams played in 2019, the Indians got 3 touchdowns in a row to put the Indians away. There's a nice pass over the middle, and it is collected by New Bedford's Florin Brazil, Floyd in Brazil. That's the 6'2", 186-pound senior on the reception.
That was a dangerous pass by Dozenberg. Talk about threading a needle. Threw it between two Indian defenders. Two Indian defenders clang the helmets and trying to deflect it. And it just went right in front of Daniel Martin of the Indians. And it's a 6-yard gain. It's 3rd and 3. Now I'm interested to see what head coach Mark DeBrito calls. You could have a nice pass play here. You could run an option. And again, they're going to spread them out.
2 wide outs to the left, 1 to the right. 2 running backs near Dozenberg again operating out of the shotgun for New Bedford. 3rd and 4. Inside, handoff goes nowhere. Big pile up on the interior and nothing doing there as number 55, Joshua Miller, the defensive lineman, stepping up to make a play. And that's one of the beefier guys on the Dartmouth defensive line.
And Jared Holmes, the defensive lineman, also there on the tackle. It was a team effort, actually a loss of a yard, but it looks as though Mark DeBrito is already going to roll the dice here nice and early and go for it on 4th and 4.
You see more of this when the ball is in enemy territory. Teams tend to go for it more than they used to. And so we'll see if it works out here. Now there's going to be a timeout in New Bedford. They want to think about this a little bit more. I think the issue is because it's a 4th and almost 5 rather than, say, a 4th and 1. If you don't get it, you give the Indians great field position, and we saw how they came down the field on that first drive. On the other hand, you could bury them down, inside the 5-yard line. But I don't know. I think it's a good call to try to do something here. We'll see.
I give credit to Mark DeBrito. We know that he is an offensive mastermind when it comes to these kinds of plays that he calls up. And on 4th and 4, 4th and 5, you could really run the gamut. You could do a nice option play. You could run some wishbone. You could do a rollout similar to what we saw Will Kelly do earlier on that on the last drive. It'll be interesting to see what happens. By the way, I have to give a shout out to my friend Kyle Alfonso, who just messaged me and said, "Dude, I love your commenting. Can you please replace Joe Buck?" So that's I was telling you before that Joe Buck was one of my favorites. Now he wants me to beat Joe. Listen, Kyle, I appreciate it, but I think I'm going to stick in New Bedford for a while. But I appreciate the love, my friend.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle. It's a nice comment to make here early on. This is only the first quarter.
And that's the thing. When you're doing these games live in real time, your friends text you and they message you.
Yeah, exactly. We're glad to be able to do that because, a lot of people that would come out here tonight and see this game in person and unfortunately can't do it. So to the extent that we can help, we're happy to do that as we look at a 4th down and about 4. And the Indians have decided the Whalers rather have decided to punt the ball. Ian DeCosta.
Now we have a flag, Paul. What happened here? The near side judge just threw the flag. Do we have too many men on the field for New Bedford? Darius Harrison was running off on the far side. He may have been an extra man. I'm not sure what happened. And it is against the Whalers.
Yeah, you never get off the field. Well, it's a 5-yard penalty. They were going to punt anyway.
It gives them more kicking room now.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were going to punt anyway, so it doesn't hurt them too badly. But that'll be a 4th and 9, and we'll see what the punter Ian DeCosta can do here. The Indians, a couple men back deep. And the Indians will get their second possession of the day. Very impressive first possession by the Indians. Has to scoop that one up. DeCosta does. Collected here at about the 20-yard line, and it is going to be a fair catch at the 20. And the Dartmouth Indians will take over 1st and 10. A fair catch by Ethan Marks,
who scored that 15-yard scamper back on the first drive at 9:24 to give the homestanding Indians that 6-0 lead as they drew first blood. I got to tell you, I love this weather here tonight, Paul. Can we do high school football every spring from now on? No more of this fall stuff, okay? I want this nice weather. I'm a traditionalist. I guess we should keep it the fall, but this is nice.
Well, it's still jacket weather, but it's not like, you're bundled up like you're going to Alaska. It's
We've done some games later in the season. Man, we were freezing.
So our 1st and 10 at about the 20-yard line. Will Kelly with the inside handoff. And nothing happening there. It looked like Billy Souza, one of the defensive linemen. He just threw the running back to the ground.
He tossed him down like a rag doll on that outside edge. The defensive lineman, whew, boy, that was a message sent if there ever was one. Gain of nothing at 2nd and 10. He saw that coming a mile away.
I remember the great Jim Thompson, who I believe is in Florida right now, had mentioned about how the Dartmouth Indians have a black on green uniform. And now I know why he used to comment about that, because you can't see the numbers for anything. But once again, we have a penalty flag on the play. And let's see if this is going against the offense. It's possibly another false start against Dartmouth. The officials are talking about it. No, outside this time against New Bedford. So the Indians get 5 yards, and that'll create a 2nd down and about 5 for the Indians. So that's a big boost for them, especially the way they've been able to move the ball. They've had good success passing it, running it. They've really mixed up the offense pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And now they get 5 yards for free, sort of, on that penalty. So 2nd down and 5 here for Will Kelly, the quarterback, who threw a tremendous pass in that first possession. And Kelly keeps this time after the inside handoff. He has a 1st down and more. Down to the 38-yard line. That is a gain of about 15 and a 1st down for the Dartmouth Indians. How about that?
And it seems like the Indians have cracked the code, at least right now, on how to attack this Whaler defense. Do not go to the strong side. Go to the weak side where Billy Souza is not, and they attack where Billy isn't, and they go to the outside edge. They're going on the far hash. A huge gain for a 1st down. Great play by Kelly to hold that ball ever so gently right at the edge there, and he gave off the perception that he was going to hand off the ball, but the Indians were able to cash in on the Whalers biting incorrectly.
Here's Kelly. Hand off to the inside. Big thrust by the offensive line. Extra push, but a minimal gain that time up the middle. And it looks like it's Marks on the carry. And on the stop,
was made by
Souza.
Yeah, he ran right into Billy Souza. Billy was right there, as well as Devin Vieira.
Say those Souza brothers, Beloy Souza and Billy Souza, on the defensive line, playing both ways on the offense. The coaches talked about them prior to the start of the season. Very, very important members of this New Bedford team. And here's Kelly. Drops back into the pocket, throws downfield in the air, and it is incomplete. Good coverage there by New Bedford as Josh Ribeiro, the safety, was down there all over the intended receiver.
And that's one probably Will Kelly would like to have back if he were to have a redo. He threw into double coverage. The odds of that coming down with a positive reception were minimal at best. Again, as you mentioned, Josiah was tremendous on that coverage, deflected it down in the defensive backfield. You got to pick your battles. 1-on-1, you take that chance, you huck it up. 1-on-2, 1-on-3, your odds have really decreased on a completion. You may want to check down and look for something else.
3rd down and 8 now for the Dartmouth Indians. Ball at the 40-yard line. Inside handoff. Nice run that time by Solnavi Esterlin. Big run, 15 yards, 1st down for the Green.
And that was hard upfield running. It was left to right. It was east to west. And again, look at the blocking up front by the Indians, led by Patrick Crane. Crane with that nice block to lead the way for Esterlin to get that 1st down. Unbelievable play. Crane made the block, and the Indians have called for a timeout.
Well, we're halfway through the 1st quarter, so we'll see if this is the water break that they were talking about. It does look like they're going for the water.
Yeah, it's still water. Yeah,
you got to look at the Dartmouth High School cheerleaders. Yeah, some extra rules here today in this game. Halfway through each quarter, there was a 2-minute water break, and then all timeouts are 2 minutes. We have a 10-minute halftime, no band or anything like that. So we'll proceed right through the game, but those breaks are a little bit longer. Make sure everybody's in good shape. And we got to look at Mark DeBrito now in his 6th season as the head coach of the New Bedford Whalers. We talked about the Southeastern Conference encompassing Dartmouth, New Bedford, Bridgewater, Raynham, Brockton. And we'll see what happens with the Indians. There are going to be playoffs, so to speak. Not MIAA, just locally within its own conference. Each school's can do whatever they want in whatever conference that they're in, and there'll be playoffs in April. And then people are wondering, what happens to the baseball season and the spring sports and softball and all that?
It'll happen.
Well, they play after that.
That's true.
And it goes into possibly, the beginning of July maybe? It goes long, goes right to the end of the school year, that's for sure. Right into the very,
Yeah, it goes for a while. But we have that time out here on the field for that water break. And you can see here the way all the players are lined up. They all have to keep at least 6 feet of distance. The new normal for at least 2021, but thank God everyone's starting to get vaccinated, and we're going to start flattening the curve. Dartmouth has become out of the red. New Bedford's become out of the red. We're starting to open back up. It's a great thing to see because everyone is ready to get back to normal living, the summer cookouts, the parties, all of that, and just things like coming to a ball game, things we've taken for granted for so long. And you can tell here these parents are really appreciative here tonight, and they're very excited to be here in person cheering on their kids.
And what a comfortable night it is in the upper 50s now at Dartmouth Memorial Stadium. And there are the Dartmouth fans and parents on the home side of the field. So we're looking at a 1st and 10 here for the Indians after that terrific run. Another inside handoff, but this one is not going too far. Right up the middle goes the ball. There's marks on the carry, and number 15 on the New Bedford Whalers side, that's Miggy Rodriguez, the linebacker, coming up to make the tackle.
And the other Souza, Beloy Souza, number 56, was also there. And they snuffed that one out. They saw that a mile away, and the Indians were trying to play the old school, pounded up the middle again with marks. It worked on that touchdown. This time it did not on that up the middle.
2nd down and 10 now for Dartmouth. Dartmouth leading 6-0 late here in the first quarter. Kelly keeps. This has been a successful play all day long as he gains about 9. We'll see if he got enough for the first down as he is tackled on a nice option run on the outside by the quarterback, Will Kelly.
Now we'll take a look here. Will Kelly again. Hold it. Go to the weak side, and no one can chase him down. Finally, Josiah Ribeiro is able to do it. Ribeiro is very quick. He's good in that defensive backfield, but not before another Indian first down, and they are marching here in their second drive.
Will Kelly hands it off to the man in motion. That's going to be Sal Esterlin. Esterlin down to the 22-yard line, thrown down by Miggy Rodriguez. Another nice game that time for the Indians. Wow, the Indians are doing whatever they want here on offense. They're running to the right, running to the left, quarterback running, backfield, passing the ball.
Well, that's the thing. Mark DeBrito doesn't know what to do. You can't blame him. Are they going to throw the ball deep? Are they going to run an in-cut, an out-cut? Are they going to run the option? Are they going to run a handoff? What are they going to do? This offense we're seeing right now for the Indians is very eclectic in what they're running.
1st and 10 now, inside handoff, and breaking away with the ball is Pat Kane. Fumble, and the Indians have fumbled it, and the Whalers have recovered.
Darius Harrison, Paul, he jumped on it on the ground, and that ball was popped off loose. You could just see on the handoff, it wasn't a clean exchange. It was sort of getting juggled, and Harrison's there for the loose ball, and he jumps right on it. Let's take a look. The handoff went right to Pat Crane, and Crane with a nice run was thinking maybe of pay dirt. He was right around the 15-yard line. He just gets it stripped away. It's a whole sea of crimson and white, and it's a Whaler ball, a huge boost for the New Bedford High Whalers. Now they have a chance to try to tie this thing or take the lead.
Before Harrison was able to get the ball, it looked like Mike Fernandez, the safety, got his arm in there that kind of began the jarring loose process. So good teamwork by New Bedford to strip that ball away and take away what looked like was going to be sure points for the Indians. So here's Dosenberg. He hangs onto the ball, and he is tripped up at about the 15-yard line. That is Patrick Kane, the gentleman who fumbled the ball, says, hey, I'm not going to let you run with it. I'm tackling you.
Pat certainly atoned for his mistake on the last play. What a nice bit of tackling here by Pat Crane. He saw his man coming up the field, just reaches out to that right ankle of Dosenberg, tosses him down. It's a loss of a yard. Wow. By the way, we talked about getting texts in real time. I have a text from another friend of yours and a friend of mine, Grace Gibbs. She wanted me to say hi to you and that you're great and we're great and that
Just pumping us up.
my son and I bought Paul's house. So there you go.
Oh, okay. I remember. Right, exactly. Wow, that goes way back. That's like, oh my God. Trying to think how many years ago that was. Anyway, here's Dosenberg. Inside handoff. That is number 2, Jaden Frazier. And Frazier is up past the 20-yard line, tackled at about the 22. So that's a significant gain of about 6 or 7 for the Whalers.
Baron Dutra was there to help bring him down. A good run for New Bedford to get back some of that yardage they lost. It's still 3rd and a mile, so we'll see what happens here. If you're Dartmouth, you want to play back a little bit. That way, if there is a completed pass, you can try to stop New Bedford prior to the chains being moved. I doubt here you'll see any kind of blitz called up. You wouldn't want to leave anyone uncovered downfield. I would play a conservative here if I was Mark White, play my DBs, my linebackers back, and look for the pass.
Dosenberg out there in the shotgun on the 3rd down and 4. Whalers haven't had as much success in this situation, but Dosenberg has some real estate, and he turned the corner. Second effort past the 30, down to the 31, and a first down for the Whalers. And what a nice run there by the quarterback, the 6'5", 190 junior, Ryan Dosenberg.
And that was probably the best fake me out we've seen so far tonight. We had 3 Indians converging on Jaden Frazier. They all thought he had the ball. Heck, I thought he had the ball. But Dosenberg held on to it at the very last second and held that ball very tightly. And he was able to just cross the line to get the first down and move the sticks.
And Dosenberg, you saw him stumble and get that second effort. Well, it was Will Kelly that got his hands around the ankles of Dosenberg and just couldn't get him to come down. And Dosenberg broke away from his counterpart quarterback there. Kelly in his defensive back position there, of course. Inside handoff. Here's Dozier past the 40, down to the 41-yard line. That's a nice gain of about 8 yards, and things are starting to open up a little bit for the Whalers. They haven't been able to move the ball all day, but you can start to feel it change a little bit.
Well, they're finding openings with the run game. They're finding it on the far hash, on the would be the strong side of the line for New Bedford. They're finding it up the middle. We'll see here if we get one more play out before this quarter ends. That may have been the last play of this quarter. I think it's going to be.
We'll have to see whether or not that turnover, they talk about turnovers in football as the clock continues to wind down. The turnover when the Indians fumble the ball and as a result didn't score. And that's it. That's the end of quarter number 1. At the end of the first quarter, it is Dartmouth 6 and the Whalers nothing. The only score was with 9:24 to go in the quarter. Ethan Marks, a 15-yard touchdown run. The extra point no good, and the 6-0 lead. And that touchdown was set up by the tremendous Kelly pass to Dutra for 30 yards on a 3rd and long. And I was thinking to myself, what are the chances of converting that just from, you're watching a game, it's a high school game. Usually those big long passes, maybe 20, 30%, nothing against, Dartmouth or anybody. Oh, wow, just dropped it right on the breadbasket.
It was dropping it into the bucket. And that was shades of, to be honest with you, that's pure Ben Roethlisberger right there. That's rolling out across your body. You're throwing sort of on your back leg. You're going sort of side-armed, and you're going on the far side of the field. And Will Kelly, that was a fantastic play. Still so far, in my opinion, the play of the game. I know we've got 3 more quarters to go. But without that 30-yard completion, there's no way Ethan Marks gets set up for that 15-yard scamper at 9:24. And that's where we stand, 6-0 in favor of the Indians. But the Whalers are on the move here as we start to get into the second quarter here. And maybe Mark DeBrito and Dosenberg have started to figure something out, and they see something that they want to exploit. Seems like they're having a lot of success with the run game.
Right, using the big guys like the Souza brothers and so forth to try to wear down the Dartmouth Indians. And as you can see over near the town hall, there's a congregate of students over there watching the game from outside. It looks like they mostly have masks on, so that's good. But
they better be, because they're not socially distancing, okay?
All right, you called them out.
I did, but they're wearing masks.
They're wearing masks. You look at Will Kelly right there. He's about to go back on the field, in his defensive position. But, he always wanted to be the quarterback over here. His older brother won a Super Bowl for the Dartmouth Indians back in 2015, got to play at Gillette Stadium. I remember that game because we had an opportunity to go up and call that with Jim Thompson. And, it was really great for him to see his brother win that Super Bowl. And then he always thought, I'm going to play. He was the younger brother of all these brothers that played ball, and a great family. His parents are athletes. And, he was eyeballing this position since like 5 years old. And usually when that happens, that's dangerous. And somebody's eyeballing it that young. So good for him. Meanwhile, Rosenberg, the counterpart on the other side, ducks out of the way of a would-be sacker, still on his feet. 5-yard gain, slides down after a gain of about 7 or 8 yards. Late flag on the play.
Yeah, we have a lead hit as Dosenberg hit the deck, but the Whalers were not ready for the heat that time from the Indians. And breaching the A gap was Joshua Miller. He came right in like a bull in a china shop. And let's see what the call is. It's going to be a late hit, I assume.
Problem is, you saw Dosenberg. He did a really good job ducking out of the way and letting Miller go right by him. And then as a result, he was able to run down the field and get a good first down. It looks like it's going against the Indians here.
And Dosenberg is so athletic. He was able to get out of the way of Miller. Let's see here. He slides, hits the deck. Yeah, you can't do that. The quarterback is giving himself up there. It's clear as day. And Jared Holmes, he lowers the helmet and he gets right in there. You can't do that. That's a 15-yard whack against the Indians. And that could be very detrimental to the home team here on this drive.
You saw Dosenberg on that replay giving the throw a flag signal to the officials because he knew that the call was there to be made. So it's first down and 10. 3 wideouts for the Whalers this time. Pass to the outside. That's going to be incomplete. And fortunately, it's ruled a forward pass because that was pretty close to being a backward pass, which would result in a fumble. The intended receiver, Raineen Goodine. How about that last name? Wide receiver at 5'11", 169 pounds, ball overthrown.
And the Indians were very lucky because Goodine was open and he had a country mile in front of him to run. He would have gotten a first down and then some. They were lucky that the pass from Ryan Dosenberg was just outside the wickets and he missed it. Huge break for the Indians.
Again, 3 wideouts. Fernandez to the left. We got Brazil over here to the right, along with Renan Goodine from the shotgun again. And it's going to be Dosenberg after the fake handoff. He takes it himself. Tackled down at the 31-yard line. Nothing doing there is Ethan Marks. Gets in there and makes the tackle for the Dartmouth Indians, the defensive back.
Ethan Marks was also in there with William Chow, number 18. And this is just a straight fake me out, straight draw. He held the ball, was trying to go to Frazier. The Indians bought the acting job by Dosenberg, and he's able to scamper for a nice gain. It's now 3rd and 4, and we have a timeout called by the Indians.
Tell you, the Indians could really be ahead by 2 scores right now because after that first score where they marched down the field, the second possession, they did it again. They marched down the field the second time, and then they turned the ball over. And it was only then that New Bedford started to get into their groove and, find some traction and have been moving the ball. Even though they haven't scored, they're moving the ball. And you can feel them getting back into it a little bit because first couple of possessions, they were losing the battle at the line of scrimmage.
They were, and now we're starting to see the tides turn here. We have 2 physical teams here, and we know that. And we have 2 great head coaches, 2 of probably the best in the South Coast, and Mark DeBrito and Rick White. And to be honest with you, we knew that there would be in-game adjustments as things progressed. The Indians came right through in that first drive like a hot knife through butter, albeit they had that 30-yard completion. But besides that, they were able to move the ball. Marks had that nice touchdown run up the middle. But what happened? Mark DeBrito, his coaching staff, John Seed, Harry Lowe, everyone else, they figured it out. And that's what great coaching staffs do. The Whalers have a veteran-laden coaching staff that go back to when I was in high school and back when you and I were calling games back in the day with Joe Cabral and all that. So these guys know the deal. They know how to call a football game, and they know how to make adjustments. And so does Rick White and his squad. I mean, you don't win multiple Super Bowls if you don't know what you're doing, and Rick White certainly knows what he's doing. 3rd and 4. I think all plays and options are on the table here for New Bedford.
3 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right for Ryan Dosenberg. Frazier next to him in the backfield. Quick pass over the middle. Nice throw, and it is caught. And a successful pass to Michael Fernandez. He's the wide receiver at 6'2", 173. He's a senior. He collects the ball at about the 30, make that the 26-yard line.
It was actually Darius Harrison who made that catch. But it was just a simple in route. He just cut out about 6 yards, turned, did an about face. Nobody was near him. He outran the linebacker that was covering him, and he was able to corral it for the first down. Huge first down for the Whalers.
Whalers are starting to get some traction here as we move late in the first half, early in the second quarter. First down and 10 for New Bedford. Dozenberg with Frazier next to him in the backfield. Delayed handoff to Frazier. Has a nice hole up the middle. Past the 20-yard line down to about the 15. A huge gain that time for the Indians. And a little bit of a delay before Frazier took off, but the play worked.
And again, one of the Souza boys leading the way. You see 57 Billy Souza on the left side of that line. Look at the parting of the green sea here, not the red sea. Look at that on the left side edge. Boom. Smacking his left side defender on the defensive edge right out of the way. And he's able to pave the way for another huge Whaler first down. And they continue to move the sticks here. And if things keep up this way, they are well on their way to at least tying this game and maybe even taking their first lead.
Billy Souza, 6 feet, 245. Low snap. Dozenberg tries to do what he can, but he is going to be hit and tackled by number 55 of the Dartmouth Indians, and that is Joshua Miller, the defensive lineman.
And Miller was able to pounce on that miscue on the bad snap that Dozenberg had a hard time corralling. Excellent play that time by Josh Miller to capitalize on the mistake. You see the bad snap, and Dozenberg picks it up, and Miller cleans it up. He also was able to get some help from William Chow in that backfield. Huge loss of 5 yards. It's now 2nd and 15 for New Bedford, and you know that no matter what happens, even if it becomes a 4th down, they're going to go for it. They just don't have the type of a kicker here at this level to go for a 40, 45, 50-yard field goal. So Mark DeBrito was all in here at this point.
2 wide out to the right, 1 to the left for Dozenberg in the pocket. Quick pass. Almost intercepted. It was tipped in the air. Like it was intended for Mike Fernandez, but it went off his fingertips and almost intercepted by the Indians. And that was Ethan Marks, Daniel Martin out there almost picking that one off.
Daniel Martin, great play here to tip it up into the air. And he was just sort of playing back. He was the inside linebacker on that play. Thought he was going to blitz in. He faked it back, tipped the pass off Dozenberg, and it was almost picked up off the turf by Baron Dutra. He almost had it. That would have been a tremendous break for the Indians. Let's see what happens now on 3rd and 15. This is obviously 4-down territory, as I just said. You don't have to pick up all 15 here, Paul. Get 5, get 6, chip away.
Out to the right goes Michael Fernandez. Dozenberg, the quarterback. He has Frazier next to him, and now we have a timeout being called by New Bedford. And a good timeout right there by the head coach, Mark DeBrito. I mean, we're in a 3rd and 15. You're trailing by 6. You need to tie this game and get some points on the board. You can feel the tide turning, and he wants to talk about and have a conference to see what they can come up with.
Well, they've had a lot of success running the ball. We know that we've seen it with either Dozenberg keeping it on the keeper and the draw. We've seen it with Jaden Frazier, the running back in the backfield. They've had success running the ball. They haven't had much success passing the ball and throwing. The only completion we've seen so far tonight was that in-cut route to Darius Harrison that accumulated for a first down a few plays ago. But you got to stick with what works. I get it because the run has worked, but now you're in that passing territory. So do you try throwing the ball now and try for maybe another in-cut to chip away 5, 6, 7 yards? Or do you try another maybe end around, another maybe a wishbone type play, or some type of full house backfield, or another fake or a shotgun spread where you hand the ball off on a sweep? All options are on the table here, and we know Mark DeBrito runs a very thick playbook. We've seen that for years, and I wouldn't be shocked to see some trickery here on 3rd and 15.
Fernandez and Goodine wide to the left. Dozenberg with Frazier next to him in the backfield on the 3rd and 15. Here's Dozenberg. Has to move to his left. Escape. Spins away. Finally, gang tackled at the 20-yard line. Was not able to find anybody downfield. Good work by the Dartmouth Indians defense, covering everybody down there in the secondary. And it's going to be a 4th down at about 15.
And there was no trickery there. It was just a regular old school drop back and pass and throw the ball and look for your receivers on their routes. The only trouble was the Indians had great coverage, and Dosenberg had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He decided to keep the ball himself, put it on the deck. He ended up gaining 3 yards out of that, but again, not before Patrick Crane thumped him to the ground. And Crane has been a force in the defensive backfield today for the Indians. So now it's 4th and 12. You obviously are going to see a throw here.
Dosenberg in the pocket, has some time, throws on the run, coming back to catch it, and making the catch is Michael Fernandez, the wide receiver. He is down at about the 7-yard line, and it's going to be short of a 1st down, and the ball is turned over on down.
Wow, it's about 1.5 yards shy, Paul, just short, as you see the official making the measurement there with his hands. Wow.
Looked like Fernandez had to come back to get it, and that might have been the difference. You know, the play was probably not actually done the way it was designed. You saw the way Dosenberg had to roll to his right to gain more time, and then Fernandez he had to come back into what would not be 1st down territory. But even then, he caught it, tried to get over the line, but just couldn't do it.
In a case like that, when it's 4th and long or 3rd and long, you got to run 2 or past the sticks. If you're cutting in, the odds of you making a completion on 4th down, gaining 5-6 yards, and try to break 1,000,000 tackles, the odds are not in your favor. If it were 3rd down, I would say yes, that'd be a fine play to run. But on 4th down, you got to chuck it. You got to get it past those sticks. Now let's take a look at that. Turnover on downs for the Indians. Excuse me, for the Whalers. Stopped by the Indians. Now you see here Dosenberg rolling out, as you talked about. Mike Fernandez comes back in, but he just had to cut back in because he was covered wonderfully by the Indians. They played back. He was pushed out of bounds by Crane and company, as well as Baron Dutra was also there on the coverage. And that's a huge break for the Indians because we all thought that a Whaler touchdown was a foregone conclusion in that last drive. They were just punching the ball in. They were running, and they were having the gaps. They were pushing aside the defensive line of the Indians, led by the Souza boys. But somehow, some way, the Indians were able to white-knuckle it and stand their ground and cause the turnover on downs deep within their own defensive territory with 6:48 to go. And the Indians now have a chance to capture a 2-score lead, still maintaining a very slim 6-0 lead. And they've got 90 yards to go if they hope to double that up here with 6:48 left in the half.
Conference going on there between members of the Dartmouth Indians. You see veteran head coach Rick White on the sideline there, Mike Martin, Peter Rossi, and the rest of the staff. And on the other side, Mark DeBrito. And a lot of coaches over there, a lot of experience who have been around a long time, like Harry Lowe, Wayne Hamlet, John Seed over there. They just got Rudy Bulger back after 10 years of being the head coach in Fairhaven. It was an opportunity to come back and assist here back at home, the place where he won 6 state championships on 3 different teams, back-to-back state championships in football, basketball, and baseball back in 1993 and 1994. And I'm sure he enjoyed coaching over there in Fairhaven. No problem. Absolutely, 100%. But to put back on the red and white, I'm sure he's enjoying that. 1st down and 10 now for the Indians, deep in their own territory. Got to get the ball out of there. And an inside handoff. That is going nowhere. Looked like number 56, Beloy Souza, 6 feet, 245, got in there to make the stop as the inside handoff went nowhere.
And that was a fake sweep that time ran by the Indians, but it was a keeper. But as we saw it right there, Beloy Souza was all over it like white on rice. Gain of 3, however, could have been worse.
There's Will Kelly, the new quarterback this year. As we said, when he was a kid, 5, 6 years old, he was thinking, wow, I want to be quarterback of that team someday. And watched his brother play in the 2015 Super Bowl, and now here he is as a junior calling the signals for the Indians. And he's got the ball right now. He's going to try to carry it, but he is gang tackled right at the line of scrimmage. And you have a number of renewing customers there, like Billy Souza,
Beloy Souza and Billy, yeah.
Exactly, the Souza brothers. Both of them weigh 245.
I think they're big boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here with the Indian offense. We saw a lot of good stuff happening in the first couple of drives, some rollouts, some sweeps, some keepers, some fake option. I've seen a couple of run plays right up the middle here lately, and now I'm just trying to figure out what's going on.
Will Kelly rolls out to his left. Was thinking about throwing it, but he's going to run down to about the 15-yard line. He reached out with the ball to see if he could get an extra yard, but that's going to do it. And I think the Indians have definitely gotten conservative, no question about it. But I don't know if that's because of the field position. They were buried deep in their own territory, and it just felt like they were trying to be conservative and moving the ball up the field.
And it looked as though Kelly was perhaps looking for an option to throw the ball, but nobody was there. Great coverage by the Whalers. And you hate to see it because the kicking game is always not that great at the high school level, countrywide. But when you're this deep in and the Indians have to punt here, there's no way you can even try going forward on 4th and 2.
Oliver Taradash punting the ball for the Indians. Had a hard time getting it off. It's blocked that time by one of the Whalers. And is it going to be a touchdown? It's touchdown! Whalers! They block the punt, and they cover the ball in the end zone. It's Souza with a touchdown.
Billy Souza takes the block, and he runs right in. There were multiple Indians trying to tackle him before he got into the end zone. Paul, you know and I know that's not going to happen, and he's able to just cross the goal. Watch this. It's the Souza boys. Billy blocks it. Belois blocks it, and Billy runs it in. Unbelievable.
Wow, you couldn't have drew.
That's insane. Oh, my God.
One brother blocks it, and the other brother takes it into the end zone.
And now the Whalers have the chance to take the first lead of the evening if they can get the successful point after.
Ian DaCosta looking to kick the extra point, and it goes right down Broadway, and with 5:05 to go here in the second quarter, the New Bedford Whalers have turned the tables here. You can feel the momentum turning as New Bedford takes the lead 7-6. That was incredible.
Stop it. That's insane. We talked about the Souza brothers in our open. We've talked about them, probably one of them, every other play in the first quarter and a half. And we just saw them combine right there for that block and scoop up for the touchdown, breaching the offensive line of the Indians on that punt attempt.
I wonder if we could see that again. That would be great. I mean, that was just something that you just don't see. One brother blocking it, and then it went right into the hands of the other brother. He didn't even have to, try to scoop it up. It was right in midair.
Well, we knew that the Indians were in trouble here. It was a one-hopper, and trying to punt it, Will Kelly, God bless him, tried to do his best, but it was blocked, and it was the brother show, and breaching it right into his arms. Billy Souza says, thank you very much. And listen, give an A for effort to the likes of Owen Quigley-Mello, trying to tackle him before the goal line, but Owen Quigley-Mello was overmatched. There was no way he was bringing down that big boy.
So Ian DaCosta not able to get that kick off. The fact that it was low and he had to scoop it up and take an extra second to get it away allowed Souza to get in there. Now ball is picked up here inside the 20-yard line by Dartmouth. Ball is carried down to about the 32-yard line. And let's see who the ball carrier is. That's going to be number 34, Ethan Marks, carrying the ball. And the Indians have decent field position with 4:59 to go in the quarter.
And now's not the time to be conservative if you're the Indians. Do what you do best. You have an athletic quarterback who you know can throw the ball. Do your rollouts, run some sweeps, try some option plays. Get the defense on their toes, get them guessing. Is it a pass? Is it a run? We know that Will can do it both. Let's get the defense questioning themselves here.
1st and 10 for the Indians. Will Kelly brings him out. Man in motion left to right. Kelly throws deep down the field. He has a man. It's caught at the 40, at the 30. It is going to be a touchdown for the Indians. Baron Dutra. Tremendous long pass into the arms of Dutra. And what a pass by the quarterback, Kelly.
And we just said it. This kid can throw the ball, and we know it. Everyone knows it. You got to be prepared for it, but you can't be too conservative. Let the kid air it out, and there it is. Right up the gut, splitting 3 Whaler defenders. Unbelievable. Baron Dutra running right behind Michael Fernandez, and the defensive back Fernandez was beat cleanly. That was just a seam route right up the middle.
And once again, the kick is blocked and covered as the Indians are unable to get the extra point off. So that big defensive line there, you see once again, number 56, Beloy Souza coming off the field.
I'm shocked, I tell you. He blocked it? No way.
So we have a 12-7 score, but the Indians have the lead, and we'd like to take a look at that again if you can cue that one up while we have these relatively long breaks over here. That was one of the more entertaining passes of the game. That's twice now we've seen Will Kelly air it out. The first time to Dutra, it wasn't a touchdown, but it was a 30-yard pass, and now here it is again.
And the ball was spotted at the 27-yard line. So
70 yards
70
or so.
70-plus yard pass completion right there, right up the middle. A 70-plus yard touchdown scamper there on the hookup between Kelly and Dutra. My, oh my. And Billy Dutra, the kid can run the routes. He can catch the ball. It's good to see.
It's interesting because you were talking about this is not the time to be conservative, right? Because the last time Dartmouth had the ball, it was kind of like, well, kind of conservative, right? So here it is. Not conservative at all this time.
Right up the middle. And to be honest with you, quite frankly, it's blown coverage by the Whalers. You got to give credit to Dutra. He was running and he was on the horse right there, but he just beat Fernandez and others just in the defensive backfield. They completely ignored him. They didn't even realize he was there. And that was just another drop in the bucket. And Dutra says, thank you very much, and I'll put up 6 more on the board. However, another muffed chance on the point after. Now it's becoming a problem. Now you've got 2 points that you haven't put up on the scoreboard. Hopefully, if you're an Indian fan, that again does not come back to bite you when we're talking about this with all zeros after the fourth quarter.
A lot of times it does. Every time you see those extra points and those 2-point conversions not be successful, you always think, oh boy, this is going to be a problem in the fourth quarter. Hopefully not from the Indians' point of view. Here's Oliver Taradash kicking the ball off, and it is going to be caught and covered at the 29-yard line by the New Bedford Whalers' Miggy Rodriguez, where the Whalers will take over 1st and 10. New Bedford doesn't have an offensive touchdown, but they've been moving the ball a lot more as the first half has gone along.
They have. Well, that's akin to their offensive line, the fact that they're clearing out space and they're getting some running room for Jaden Frazier. And Dozenberg is getting some time to sort of dissect this defense and see what's going on and try to figure out what route he wants to go. He's had 2 completions so far today, not for huge gains, but we know he can also throw the ball. And as we mentioned at our open, he's 6'5". He can arc that ball over any defensive lineman or linebacker on this Indian squad.
So it's 1st and 10 for New Bedford. The ball is at about the 30-yard line. Ryan Dozenberg, as we said, the 6'5" junior quarterback for New Bedford. And it's a handoff to Frazier, who's done a majority of the ball carrying to the interior. Minimal gain that time, as he is tackled on the inside by Josh Miller for the Indians.
Miller was there for the Indians as well as Jared Holmes. They were both there. And teamwork makes the dream work, right, Paul?
Absolutely.
And it's great to be working with you again, Paul. And
a lot of fun.
Getting our flow together. But it seems like we picked right up from 2005, I think.
Yeah, wow, that was a long time ago. I remember that game. That was a Thanksgiving Day game between New Bedford and Durfee.
And Andrew Rebello scored with like 20 seconds left on a scamper to win the game for New Bedford. It was pretty cool.
2nd down now and 8 for New Bedford. Here's Dozenberg. He's got 3 wideouts. He's going to drop back into the pocket. Hasn't had as much time. Fires away. Has a man. Complete to Michael Fernandez. Fernandez gang tackled at about the 40-yard line. Patrick Crane, one of the contributors to the tackle, along with Landon Soares and others.
Yep, Soares and Crane were there. It's another in-cut route that we've seen on 3 different occasions today with Dosenberg. Again, he hooks up with Mike Fernandez, and it's very close to a first down. It's about a half a yard away. Oh, they're going to give him the first down. That was a very generous spot for the Whalers because the markers were right in front of me here, and he looked to have had his forward progress stopped a yard shy, but they're going to give him the progress in the first down. Huge break for New Bedford.
Seems like Dosenberg has had to duck and move a little bit more than Kelly has had to. I don't think his protection has been quite there, but, I think credit to the Indians' defensive rush as Frazier, goes down the middle, gets to the 50-yard line, a gain of about 9 before he is brought down by the Indians' defense.
Nothing too crazy about that. A simple handoff on the one-back shotgun right up the middle, and it's just nice power football. Get that ball right up the gut, gain 8 yards, and now you've really set yourself up well here. 2nd and short. You're a yard away from getting to the midfield stripe. And the Whalers now find themselves once again on the move. We've said that several times tonight, but can they cash in with 3 minutes to go in the half?
Brazil, Fernandez, Goodine, the wideouts. Frazier in the backfield with the quarterback, Dosenberg. Dosenberg lets it go. Kind of a wobbly pass, and he ends up coming up well short of the intended receiver, who was floored and Brazil down the left sideline. And it was, they say a wounded duck. I don't know. He just didn't get a good throw on that one.
Well, it's a combination of a couple of things. Floored in Brazil, I don't think he knew where the ball was. His head was sort of looking up to the heavens. It wasn't over his shoulder. And I think Ryan Dosenberg was expecting him to maybe cut more to the far side of the field, and he just didn't do it. Certainly a case of miscommunication there from what I could see.
So 3rd down now and 3 for New Bedford. An opportunity here to get the first down. They're in midfield, so they're going to need to get this first down. You would think to keep possession of the ball. And here's Frazier, and he is hauled down. What a tackle that time by number 55, and that is Joshua Miller. Oh, what a great tackle by Miller.
That is just a great tackle to grab him by the shoulder and slam him down to the turf to cause a 4th and 3. Everyone thought that there was going to be a foregone conclusion of a first down there by Frazier because the sea was parted by the offensive line. The initial defensive line was smacked out of the way, but here comes Josh Miller, the linebacker, slams him down. Huge play, open field tackle for the stop.
Big stop there for the Dartmouth Indians. High snap here, ball being kicked away by DaCosta. Bounces down at the 30 to the 25, and it's going to be covered by the special teams. Abel Alves Arujo covers up for New Bedford, and Dartmouth takes over 1st and 10. Exactly 2 minutes left here in the first half, and the Indians leading 12-7.
And if the Indians play their cards right here, they can combine a nice drive with running out the clock here in this half, get into the second half and third quarter with some great momentum to be up by potentially 3 scores. They have a great opportunity here.
So no throw away the conservative and
no, it's you air it out again. You air it out again, my brother.
You were right on the money that last one, I'll tell you. You were like, let's not be conservative.
Well,
here.
They don't call me Sven Abreu for nothing.
Next thing you know, there's a bomb down the middle. All right, here comes Kelly. Kelly gets drilled, but a beautiful gain. He was hit pretty hard there by
and they gave him
Anderson
the first down.
Cruz. He did get the first down, but got hit hard, but got the first down, and a nice run by Kelly, who kept the ball.
And remember, folks, in high school football, the clock stops when you get the first down, and it resets when they set the ball.
Hey, Kelly, this is his first year in the varsity, but he was the JV's quarterback, and Coach had a lot of confidence in him. He's eyeballing this position, waiting, working with Nolan Ellis, who had a great season for Dartmouth the last time they played, and he looks like a veteran out there. Esterlin was moving.
So we had an errant snap there. The snap was made by Cole Perry on the Indians. It looked like they were trying to attempt a sweep on the snap to Sylvain Esterlin, but there's a false start because it was a botched snap, and the center, Cole Perry, moved back and had an errant snap in the process, so it's 1st and 15.
See what the Indians come up with here. They've had a knack for being able to come through in these situations. Kelly tried to go out to the left, and he is going to be tackled around the ankles by Belois Souza, the defensive lineman. There he is again.
I'm surprised, I tell you. I'm shocked. Belois was there as well as Billy. They were both on the outside edge, and Mr. Kelly had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And now we've ducked under a buck here in the half, and I think now it's conservative time for Rick White. I don't foresee anything crazy now with 49 seconds and ticking.
Clock continues to run here, 44, 43. Second down and 16. Kelly calling signals. Keeps the ball as he carries around the left side to the 35, to the 40. And he's tackled by Devin Soares for one, along with Anderson Cruz, the linebacker. And you can see Kelly seemed to be banged up a little bit, but what a nice run by Kelly to get into a 3rd and 2 situation.
He's shaking off his left hand when he was trying to brace his fall. It looked like he fell on his left hand. You see he has the ball in his left hand here, and he shimmies it to his right as he's getting tackled, and he lands hard on the left hand. And in on the tackle as well was Miguel Rodriguez for New Bedford on the sweep out for Kelly. It's now a 3rd and very makeable 2 here, and they're going to let the clock just wind down, and that'll end the half. Not even Rick White's going to try anything, didn't call a timeout, didn't want to give it a shot. He'll just take the lead to the locker room.
So an interesting first half it was. The only score of the first quarter was a 15-yard touchdown run for Dartmouth by Ethan Marks, who was set up by a beautiful Kelly to Dutra 30-yard pass play. And that gave them the early lead at 6-0. And then New Bedford scored on defense when it was sort of the Souza brothers. It was a block by Belois Souza. It was recovered by Billy Souza on defense, went in for a touchdown with 5:05 to go in the second quarter. And then with 7:34 to go, it was a beautiful pass, a 73-yard touchdown pass from Dartmouth's Kelly to Baron Dutra. The extra point was unsuccessful, and that's how we have the 12-7 lead. Glad to have you with us today, Paul Santos and Ian Abreu. Stand by. We are on Dartmouth Community Media, and we will have second half action coming up next as Dartmouth leads 12-7. We'll be right back. Goes up and down. Just about ready for the start of the second half here between Dartmouth and New Bedford. High school football here on Dartmouth Community Media. The Dartmouth Indians leading the New Bedford Whalers 12-7. You see the Dartmouth Indians huddling up, getting ready for the second half. Paul Santos alongside Ian Abreu, and a special shout out to all the folks along the South Coast who are watching the game tonight. We understand we have a large viewership tonight, especially with folks not able to come to the game, only the parents, 2 per Dartmouth High School player and only 1 per player on the visiting side.
Especially with me here.
Yes, that helps, actually. Yes, it does.
Well, you've got a New Bedford City Council. You've got a TV on New Bedford Guide Star. So,
Yes.
Hey.
You're pumping my tires here. Isn't that what they said?
Hey,
Tim Thomas, you're pumping my tires?
Let's pump each other, okay?
Well, we understand that there are a lot of folks in the Florida area, and I know there are a lot of retired folks out there in Florida, maybe grandparents, aunts, uncles. Hopefully Jim Thompson is looking in tonight. The great announcer here, Hall of Famer, Dartmouth High School. We're kind of filling in here. And there you look at the fans here on the Dartmouth side. You can see it's not like it is in Florida, but, it's in the 50s. And for us here in Massachusetts, we'll take it.
Hey, for this time of the year, we will take it. Let's see what happens in this second half. It was sort of I couldn't really gauge the momentum of that second half. We saw good drives from both sides. We saw drives get stalled by both sides. I'm not sure how this is going to play out. I do know, though, however, you had 2 missed point after touchdowns, 2 PATs missed by the Indians, and as a result, they have that 12-7 lead. Again, touchdowns by Marks and Baron Dutra. Marks, the 15-yard scamper at 9:24 of the first quarter. Then at 4:48 of the second quarter, you had that completion on that touchdown, that 70-yard hookup between Kelly and Dutra on that inside seam route. Remember, the Indians scored on their very first drive on the opening kickoff, so the Whalers will now get the ball to start off the second half and third quarter here. Curious to see what Ryan Dosenberg has cooked up here on his halftime adjustments with head coach Mark DeBrito. We know they have a very talented running back. We saw that as evidenced in the first half, thanks to Jordan Frazier, who we know he can slash and gash and cut. And they have some very talented wide receivers led by Mike Fernandez, number 8, 6'2" wide receiver who has been lining up in that slot and getting a lot of open area and getting those completions. Well, the third quarter is about ready to get started, and here's Paul with the call.
Thank you very much, Ian Abreu, and kicking off will be Graham White for the Dartmouth Indians, kicking off from his own 40-yard line. Really lays into it well, and it's collected at the 15 by the Whalers. And this is a huge return by them down to the 40-yard line. That's a 20-yard return for New Bedford. And let's see, number 80 is the ball carrier there, and that is Raynen Goodine, the 5'11", 169-pound junior.
It was tough to see on the far side, but it was Raynen Goodine who scooped it up on that room service hop. You get that on this turf, the old Dartmouth High grassy field. You'd get the dirts and the divots and the stones and the pebbles and all the, to be quite honest with you, crap that goes along with it when it rains. Here, this is a beautiful surface. When you get that ball on the turf, it usually hops right back into you.
Fernandez wide to the right, Brazil wide to the left. Rosenberg brings him out to start the second half. And it's an inside handoff to Frazier. Frazier juke stepping his way past the 50, down to the 48-yard line, a gain of about 12. And a nice job by the offensive line, opening up a big hole for the running back, Frazier.
What did I just say in our open? You have talented players on this offensive side of the ball, especially at running back, and Jaden Frazier getting right up the gut. Great parting of the offensive line, finally dragged down by Josh Miller, but not before it's too late. Gain of 12 yards, a first down. Excellent first play off the shoot here by the Whalers, and between a great return by Goodine and an excellent run by Frazier, already the Whalers are knocking on the Indians' door in their territory.
Mickey Rodriguez joins Dosenberg and Frazier in the backfield, and it's Frazier again. Frazier really is quick after he gets the ball handed to him. Gain of about 6 as he gets past the 45 down to about the 43. Real explosiveness by Frazier. When he gets the ball, there's no delay. All of a sudden, boom, he's gone.
And he was finally dragged down by Pat Crane, but again, not before a gain of 5 yards. That's a great first down run. If you were to tell a coach on the first down play, can you get at least 5 yards, they'll take that every single time. And we saw it right there. And the yardage is starting to get compiled now for Frazier. He's really bringing the heat. And you know what? Stick with what works. Keep giving him the ball until it doesn't work. I anticipate another handoff here to Jaden Frazier.
3 wide outs to the left, 1 to the right. Frazier with Dozenberg in the backfield. And Dozenberg drops back into the pocket. He has some great pass protection. Throws downfield, and it is caught by Brazil down inside the 30-yard line. Coverage by Will Kelly, along with several others. Will Chow there as well. And nice job there by New Bedford, and that's going to be a first down.
Well, that's what I said. He should throw the ball.
And he had great pass protection that time. You see how much time he had to throw the ball?
Yeah, I was calling for another run to Frazier, but got to give credit to Mark DeBerto for dialing up the great play. And Florida and Brazil, he runs a nice out route here. He was on the near-sided slot, goes out, cuts out, and he's smacked down hard by the sideline, and he's still down. Not good to see. He is sitting up. That's a good sign. But he was brought down hard to the turf. Nothing malicious, nothing dirty, just a football play. Looked like maybe he got the wind knocked out of him, but not before a huge gain for a first down.
Floating Brazil, he's a senior at 6'2", 186. He's being worked on the sideline. Meantime, the Whalers looking at a 1st and 10. And I'm going to tell you, if thinking about from the New Bedford point of view, he's now up and heading back to the New Bedford sideline. But from the New Bedford point of view, I would discredit to Dartmouth because I thought they played really well in that first half, especially offensively. They were doing so much, and even defensively too. But New Bedford has to feel that, maybe they didn't play their best ball in that half.
I agree with that. Considering this team, we know the expectations of New Bedford High football every year is to win a conference title, and we know this team has a lot of veterans. Let's take a look here at that last. Looks like he just got the wind knocked out of him, to be quite honest with you. He was dragged down by Will Kelly, who also doubles as a defensive back. Huge gain for the Whalers.
Inside handoff. There goes Frazier again with that explosiveness past the offensive line. Breaks it to the right side. Frazier to the 10. And he's hauled down at the 4-yard line. Tremendous run that time by number 2 Frazier. And he was finally tackled by Will Kelly, the defensive back.
And that run by Frazier was very Barry Sanders-esque. He went to the far side. He saw he had a little bit of room, but he also saw the Indian defensive backs lining up right there to make the tackle. He makes the cut on a dime's notice, goes to the near side, finally dragged down by Kelly, not before a gain of over 20 yards. The ball is now on the 4-yard line of the Indians, and the Indians are in big trouble here, and the Whalers are set up in prime time right now to, at the very least, if not tie, well, definitely they'll take the lead here, but we'll see what they cook up.
4 wideouts, Harrison and Goodine to the left. We have Rigo and Fernandez to the right. Frazier in the backfield. Frazier gets the ball, and Frazier this time is being tackled by the interior. Had to figure they were keying on Frazier that time because he was really starting to dominate with these running plays. But the defensive line with Patrick Crane right there, the main guy making the stop that time on the inside.
And that was a ground and pound attempt there by the Whalers to try to go up the gut here. And you're not always going to be successful with that, not with this front 7 of the Indians. I don't care how much beef you have on the front. When you have a linebacker like a Josh Miller who's running wild out there today, he's going to find his man. He's going to bring him down. 3 yards to go for the Whalers.
2nd down and 3. Here's Dozenberg. Again, it's Frazier, but Frazier lost his footing, and he went down pretty quickly. It looked like Ethan Marks got in there, the defensive back who plays both ways. You see him there, number 34, making the tackle for the Dartmouth Green.
And Marks gets the freebie tackle there and says, thank you very much, because I got to tell you, if Jaden doesn't slip there, I think he's in the end zone. That one little slip with his right foot got him off his balance just enough for Marks to swoop in and drag him down to the turf. And now it's 3rd and 3. It was 1st and goal. Now it's 3rd and 3. And the Whalers are in big trouble here. And if they can't punch it in, we'll see what happens on 4th down. I assume they'll go for it again.
3rd and goal at the 3. Dozenberg, high snap, quick pass, incomplete. It was intended for Darius Harrison. Kind of an interesting call there. Usually, down low there, you can kind of pound it a little bit, and that running game had been successful, but they thought they could get that quick pass off, and it wasn't successful.
They were just trying to catch the Indians napping. Everyone here assumed that there'd be a sweep or some kind of handoff up the middle to Jaden Frazier. He's had the hot hand here in this drive. Instead, Mark DeBrito makes the call for that screen pass to Darius Harrison, and you can see DeBrito here calling for the timeout, and Harry Lowe, the offensive coordinator, is here. And it is 4th and 3. They're not going to go for 3. They are going to go for the score. It's touchdown or bust here for the Whalers.
Right, and that's the right call, obviously. I mean, you were behind by 5, so that means just a touchdown in and of itself will give you the lead.
Yeah.
You already have the lead, so you got to go for it. It's 7:23 to go in the 3rd, and things have changed a little bit. I mean, New Bedford has moved the ball better. I think that from their point of view, they were thinking they never really got traction in that first half. I mean, the only score they had was a defensive score, but they knocked on the door a couple of times. I think they really, from their point of view, need to get the offense into the end zone.
They need this in the worst way. That touchdown they scored again was on that muffed punt that was blocked by the Souza boys.
The Souza brothers.
The Souza brothers. The brothers, brought in by Beloy Souza on the block by Billy Souza. Actually, no, Beloy's blocked it. Billy brought it in. There you go. Get it right.
Could I be distantly related to the Souza brothers? That's possible.
You could be. I don't know.
That was my mother's maiden name.
Well, we're going to have to do an Ancestry.com after the game, okay? But I'm sorry, Paul. I don't see you blocking any type of extra point or punt or field goal, and
you got that right.
And dragging 3 defenders with you to the end zone. I don't know. Maybe you could.
I'm lucky I made it up here to the stands. 4th down and 3. The Dartmouth Indians hoping to defend here is New Bedford looking to go for it. They're showing 4 wideouts, and of course Frazier in the backfield with Dozenberg, and Dozenberg is really the main guy that got him downfield this far. Man in motion. Inside handoff. There goes Frazier. Frazier is tackled and brought down.
He's not in.
Not in. And let's see who made the tackle. A lot of people there. Joshua Miller involved. You see him there, number 55.
Yeah, I think it was Josh Miller again. He is on fire tonight in the middle of that field as the linebacker. And there's no doubt here the Whalers have to go for it. But let's see what happens here. Great blocking up front by the Souza boys again. And, yeah, it's Josh Miller leading the way.
That was great defense by Dartmouth because, they tried the pass play before. It didn't work. It was Frazier that got him down there. They had to be thinking, you know what, this is probably going to be New Bedford going back to the inside run, going back to what got them there. And they really focused on Frazier, and it paid big dividends. So look where the Indians are. 1st and 10 at their own, looks like 3-yard line, if I can see that far. There's the inside handoff by Kelly. And let's see, that's going to be Ethan Marks, number 34 for the Indians, the junior running back, picking up a couple. So it'll be 2nd down for the Indians, only a gain of 1 that time for the Green.
I would assume this will be a conservative drive for Rick Miller and his squad. There's no reason to get crazy here. You're way back in the bowels of your own end zone, but stranger things have happened. Maybe I'll be wrong.
I've never heard it quite described that way before. Here's an inside handoff. Nice run that time, down to about the 12-yard line as the Indians explode into the defensive secondary. And once again, it is Ethan Marks on the carry for the Indians. And let's see, are they giving him a 1st down? They are. 1st down, Dartmouth.
Well, now you can get a little less conservative because you've got breathing room. And you can see the handoff right up the gut. And there is nothing cutesy-wootsy about that. That's just great power, old-school football by Ethan Marks to just get the 1st down.
Big contact there with Mike Fernandez as he barreled over him. Ball comes loose.
Yeah, he was down already.
But not after he was down, and you can see the official giving the signal that he was down. So minimal gain that time for the Indians. Slow to get up is the ball carrier there. Let's see,
it's Will Kelly.
Will Kelly, that's not good.
That's not a good sign. And he's holding the left leg. If we can get a close-up, I'll see what's going on. Rick Miller already making the signal to get someone else warmed up just in case. Hopefully that's not the case. Geez, you hate to see that when these kids go down, especially on opening day, and the whole backstory of Will and his brother, and we'll see what happens here. But
So they're working on him right now. There's been a timeout on the field. The Indians coming to the sidelines. You see the New Bedford Whalers going to the sideline. And, it's really been a joy watching these junior athletes step in. We talk about the two quarterbacks. A lot of similarities in the sense that, they're different because one's 6'5" and the other one is, 5'9", more of a loosey-goosey running threat. And Dozenberg is kind of a drop back,
That's
6
great
feet
to
5
see.
kind of guy. But they're both juniors. They both step in, and they're both playing very well for their respective teams. And here comes Kelly to the sidelines.
Both are very similar, not similar in stature or size,
Right.
but very similar in how they have tremendous athletic ability.
Right.
Both can run, both can throw, both have done a pretty good job in leading these offenses here this evening. And, of course, the Whalers have nothing to show for it other than that blocked punt that was brought in by Souza for the score. Offensively, they've had nothing to show for it on the scoreboard, but they have been able to move the ball. So with that timeout on the field with the injury to Kelly, hopefully it gives him enough time to kind of get set and get back out there. You got to keep in mind, too, this was a short training camp, a short preseason for these teams and getting ready in their inter-squad scrimmages. There could be some Charlie horse issues out here. There's a whole lot of factors as they try to ramp up quick and get into game shape.
Well, you see Rick White converging with his team, and we'll have to see if Kelly's back in there, and he is. He looks like he's okay. Now he's coming back to the sidelines again. I didn't see another timeout signal.
I'm confused myself. I'm like you are, Paul. I'm also obviously paying attention to what's going on. I didn't see the officials make any signals. I do
know that the
timeouts
are 2 minutes here during the special rules of the pandemic. So maybe they figured that, they had another minute left. Let's go back and pick it up where we left off. But the main thing is that Kelly is back out there on the sideline because he has been just such a great player. And not only that, whether you're, the quarterback or whether you're, a special teams player, you want to see people healthy and contributing to the team, and Kelly getting back up and getting back in there, great sign from the Dartmouth point of view.
You always like to see that. Again, these kids, these are student athletes. They're not getting paid. There's no Nike endorsement deal waiting for them. This is for love of the game. You hate seeing injuries, and I'm glad he's okay. And, selfishly, you'd hate to see him leave the game too because he's a heck of an athlete. I enjoy watching him. I know you do. He's performed wonders out here tonight, and we're all very privileged to see him go to work, as we've been privileged to see both teams. It's been a very clean football game for the most part. We had one fumble earlier back in the first half, but besides that was the fumble by Crane. But besides that, no turnovers, not a lot of sloppy play, just good defense, a lot of hard-nosed football.
Very clean game, no question about it. 2nd down and 10 as Will Kelly gets the snap. He'll carry the ball himself. There are flags on the play, and there's going to be a stoppage in play. We'll see whether or not that goes against the Whalers. It looks like it might.
It looks like we had a jump on the defensive side of the ball on the line. Should be a 5-yard penalty.
Penalty on Dartmouth, legal shift.
Legal shift, okay.
Correction. Whaler penalty.
They carried the ball in the direction of the Whaler line. So
it's opening day for everybody, okay? The officials,
penalty,
the players, everybody. Let's all figure this out, okay?
The penalty was against the Whalers. Here's Kelly in the pocket where he likes to be. Right down the field it goes, and it's almost intercepted by Darius Harrison. The intended receiver was kind of spinning around and really couldn't get organized back there, and as a result, the ball was almost intercepted, and there you see Harrison.
I like the idea. I like what he attempted to do. He saw one-on-one coverage in the defensive backfield. He was trying to just go deep, but it was just a little tad underthrown, and Darius Harrison had to backtrack and backpedal, and he almost made the catch, and he almost made that interception away, and the Indians catch a huge break. 3rd and 5. You're in that middle ground. All options are on the table, and we have movement. I think this time it's going to be encroachment against the Whalers.
And that would be the second time in this drive that the penalty goes against the defense. And there you go, offside defense,
yep.
5-yard penalty. And that's going to give the Dartmouth Indians a first down.
You know what's tough, too, and you called the hockey games when I was doing basketball. Obviously, the hand signals connote the call and the play and what happened, but you don't realize how much you read the mouths of these officials and these coaches to see what they're saying and what they're talking about. The mask makes things that much more difficult.
So it's a first down and 10 for the Indians. Inside handoff. And still on his feet is the Dartmouth Indian running back, but he's just kind of piled up in the middle. It's Ethan Marks under that pile of players. And on the tackle, it was Miggy Rodriguez, the linebacker, the 5'9", 172-pound senior for New Bedford. That'll set up a second down and 10. No gain for the Green that time. Well, they're going to be playing in the Southeastern Conference, right? This group of teams that they put together.
This hybrid conference.
Yeah, hybrid conference.
But again, like I said during our open, and I'll mention that after this play.
Kelly carries himself. Shows no sign of having been banged up. Gets about a gain of 7 or 8. Tackled by Miggy Rodriguez.
I was going to say, back in the olden days, in quotations, putting my fingers up, when it was the big three in the old Colony League, these teams would very rarely play each other. Maybe they would once in a while in a non-league game, but certainly not in like a Thanksgiving Day or the playoffs. They'd be in different conferences and whatnot. But now in the Southeast Conference, these kids who have grown up together, Dartmouth and Fairhaven, border communities, these kids have played Pop Warner together and against each other. New Bedford Bears for and against each other. They all know each other. It's great to see. They all know each other's strengths, weaknesses, and it certainly ups the ante.
1st and 10 now for Kelly. Inside handoff. Very little gain there for Marks. Maybe a couple right up the gut. And we have a number of people stepping up to make the tackle, including Mike Fernandez and several other of the New Bedford Whalers. Next week, Dartmouth will be taking on Brockton at 7 p.m., followed by a game at Durfee, then at Bridgewater Raynham. So it's 2 home games that we'll have right here on Dartmouth Community Media, followed by the 2 away games, and then the playoffs if the Indians make the playoffs. Tough schedule, a lot of big teams there.
And hopefully the weather is half as good next Friday as it is today.
2nd down and 10. Here's Kelly under siege. Gets it away. 35-yard line. It is collected, but there's a huge hit immediately by Anderson Cruz, the linebacker right there.
Anderson Cruz laying the lumber down, and he just dropped the hammer on Ethan Marks on the dump off. Backpedaling was Kelly, dumps it off to Marks and Boomba. That's a great hit, folks. That is textbook, between the numbers, head down, shoulders down, get your man down. And that is laying it down here at the Dartmouth field. Unbelievable tackle there by Cruz. And now it's 3rd and long.
3rd down and 8 for Dartmouth. Here was Will Kelly again. We have a flag on the play.
Yeah, that's going to be encroachment against Florian Brazil. He was way into the defensive backfield there. He was way too excited, and he's called for the encroachment. That was clear as day right here, right in front of us.
That's 3 in a row against New Bedford during this drive. 3 times in a row that they've been called for encroachment or offside, and it's given the Indians 15 yards in the last couple of minutes of play.
And now you go from 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 4. It's a big difference.
Indians getting set up. The play being set in by head coach Rick White.
And you've got to know where the sticks are. You've got to know where the line of scrimmage is.
I'm enjoying watching this kid, Will Kelly, step right in there. He looks like a seasoned veteran, and I know this is his first varsity start for the Indians, and it's been a long time coming. First down and 10. Spin, handoff. Tackled right down in front of us after a gain of several yards. It'd be the Dartmouth running back, Ethan Marks. Number of tacklers there, Cruz and also Brazil for the Whalers, along with Beloy Souza.
Souza and company led the way on the near side. Here was a toss out on the corner, and Ethan Marks had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. It's 4th and 1. Gutsy call here by Rick White. He's going to go for it on 4th and 1.
And the ball is in Dartmouth territory.
And he's going to go into center here for this snap. Smart play.
Kelly tries to do the old Tom Brady move.
I don't know.
And I'm not sure what the result is going to be as Souza comes in and makes the tackle. Belois does.
And it is enough.
Just barely enough to get the first down. Yeah, that's the old
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, 4th and 1. You line up and you snap and you dive forward. Everybody's doing it now.
Can you believe he just inked another 4-year deal?
Yeah, I can't believe it. He's going to be playing till he's 48, it seems like.
Yeah, and he just gets it here. Nice push up front, but bringing him down was Beloy Souza, but too little too late. They moved the chains.
Kelly throws over the middle. He has a man. It's complete. Deep into enemy territory. It is going to be a tackle at the 3. Whoa! Making the touchdown saving tackle was Michael Fernandez. And on the reception, Patrick Crane. What a play again by quarterback Kelly, getting the ball down the field and on the numbers.
And what sold this was the play action fake by Will Kelly. Let's take a look at that. He fakes the handoff. Now look, you've got 2 linebackers biting. They start to go in because they think it's a handoff. And right up the seam, you've got Pat Crane. And he just outruns his man, Mike Fernandez. And he almost took it to the house. They're 3 yards away. Another long bomb by Will Kelly. Boy, this kid can throw the rock.
That's 3 times in this game that we've seen him air it out at least 30 yards or longer. And here's the handoff. It is going to be a loose ball. It's a touchdown. It was a touchdown. The ruling on the field is that he was in the end zone and down before the ball came loose.
Wow, because the Whalers did recover it in the end zone. They were saying that should be a touchback. We recovered the ball in the end zone.
I would like to take another look at that again because
some controversy here in Dartmouth. The points are up on the board. There's no review in high school football. It is what it is, and the points are up. Let's take a look.
Inside handoff here. Let's see who got the ball because there was a lot of bodies there, and it is Ethan Marks
again.
Oh, he reached out.
And I don't know about that. Wow.
Well, he reached out, so he reached out.
He did break the plane, but the ball was coming out as he. Now they're going for 2.
Here's Kelly. Kelly takes it in for the 2-point conversion, and that makes up for some of the other failings of the past, and that makes it a 27 Indian lead. And I'll take a look at that touchdown again.
So Ethan certainly broke the plane with his outstretched left arm.
Once
he does, again, it's over. It's a score. But as he's doing it, the ball comes out. Let's take a look.
I don't think it came out until
now we're splitting hairs here, Paul.
Well, here's my view. I think he had control of the ball as the football broke the plane. He had control of the ball, and it was only after the ball broke the plane a second or 2 after that the ball came loose.
I think we're going to take another look eventually when Mike in our truck can cue it up a little bit slower if he can. Super slow-mo, okay?
Upon further review.
Let's see here. Okay, here comes.
Maybe we can stop it once he breaks the plane.
Ethan.
All right, so now okay.
But see the angle.
Wait a minute, hold. He's still. Oh, now he's losing it. Oh, okay. So the question. Right, so the question is, did it start to come loose before he went over? We seem to think he was over, but not by that long.
Good thing we don't work in the NFL review booth in New York City, okay? Because we wouldn't have any decisions. We would be – it's like the 2 guys in the Muppets up in the gallery there.
I would say touchdown, I think.
Well, listen, if you're an Indian fan, you'll take it.
No, I call it as I see him.
Exactly. No, I was saying if you're an Indian fan, you'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're a Whaler fan, you're going to scream bloody murder. So, but nonetheless, the Indians have a 2-score lead, and the Whalers have their work cut out for them. They have to put up points on this drive here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Time to knuckle up.
Frazier picks it up deep in his own territory at about the 8-yard line. To the 20, to the 30. He's still on his feet all the way down to the 45-yard line.
The Whalers sideline calling for a face mask penalty. I don't see any flags thrown yet on the bring down.
That's a 37-yard return for Frazier. He looked like he was going to be buried back in his own territory with terrible field position, but he manages to get the ball to the 45.
We've seen a lot of good kickoff returns today, but let's take a look here as the Whaler sideline was calling for a face mask penalty call here on the bring down. Let's see. Oh, yeah, that's a face mask. The Indians got away with one there, folks. Absolutely. I won't tell if you won't.
Is that Graham White, the gentleman who kicked off?
It looked as though it was.
All right, 1st and 10 here for New Bedford. They definitely need something, trailing 20-7 with 49 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Here's Dozier on the outside to Fernandez at the 50. Down to the 45-yard line, and a late hit and a flag. And Fernandez is down on the field.
Second time Mike's been down today.
So hopefully he recovers from what happened there.
Let's take a look at that last hit, that late hit, to see what happened here. But another flag drawn here.
Game getting a little
chippy, right?
Yeah, a little bit more than it was in the first half. We've had a face mask. We've had now this hit here. See if we can take a look at it.
So it was a nice pass play here by Dozenberg. Complete on the screen to Fernandez. Now he's going upfield. He gets dragged down. Yeah, that's a late hit there. You can't do that. He's down, and that was a late hit by the Indians right there. And that's going to be another 15 yards tacked upon that tackle. I can't see who committed the infraction for the Indians because the way the camera angle was there, and he was running and he was going down helmet first as Fernandez was hitting the deck. Geez, you don't like to see this. Mike Fernandez, another talented young man, and he's getting the legs stretched right now, worked on.
There you see Harry Lowe, one of the great assistant coaches at New Bedford High School, varsity softball coach for many years up at Apponequet, still involved in coaching. And we see a lot of coaches on that New Bedford sideline that have been around for a long time, like John Seed and Rudy Bulger back, and saw Rain Hamlet helping out Mark DeBrito. So I'll tell you, when you fall in love with coaching, you just have to keep coming back and doing it, because the love of coaching, seeing these young players develop and mature. And the other thing that was mentioned to me that I was impressed by, I was talking to Mark DeBrito before the game. He was talking about making sure that these athletes are doing well in the classroom. And that was something that, you're on the sideline, you're talking about the game. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to have this strategy. You're going to have that strategy. And then you see number 8, Fernandez, getting up. Good to see. But the fact that he mentioned that, I thought was nice to hear that, hey, we got to remember these are student athletes.
Absolutely. So after looking at the whole situation, they're not going to call the Indians, Paul, for a late hit, even though there was one, or you can debate and speculate. They're actually going to call the Whalers for a hold. So that play is now nullified, and the Whalers go 10 yards back.
So how about that? If you are a New Bedford fan.
You were ready to get 15 yards tacked upon that first down, and you were cruising. Now it's 1st and 14.
So Dozenberg brings him down. The Whalers trailing here 20-7 early in the fourth, late in the third quarter. Dozenberg to Frazier.
We've got some chippiness down here in the offensive backfield.
We have a penalty.
Owen Quigley-Mello and Aaron Cherry on the ground. And we have a false start against the Whalers. They were sort of grabbing each other by the chest protectors, rolling around on the ground. You were right, though. It is starting to get a little more physical now, a little more chippy out here.
5-yard penalty there against the Whalers. That's going to set up a 1st and 19. So New Bedford going backwards here at a time when they really need to move the ball.
And that might be the last play of this quarter.
And that's it. At the end of 3, it is Dartmouth 20 and New Bedford 7. And the only scorer of quarter number 3 was Ethan Marks with a 3-yard touchdown run as he was being tackled, reached into the end zone to get the touchdown. 2-point conversion successful and a 20-7 lead. But how about the passing of this junior quarterback who has stepped in there right now this year, Will Kelly? He's just been so comfortable dropping back in the pocket and throwing the ball, something that I don't think you see, certainly from someone that goes in there for the first time like that. I mean, he must have been a heck of a JV quarterback.
We've seen it to Dutra twice tonight, when we've seen it to Patrick Crane once, and he can throw the ball. I saw it during the warm-ups. I saw it during the preseason footage that we had seen online. He has a tight spiral. He can run. He can throw the ball. He can throw the ball while on the run. Now, that is something that not all quarterbacks at the high school level can do across his body.
Right.
He's a heck of an athlete. And that first play, that first down that we saw, that 30-yard hookup between he and Dutra, that told me a lot, because that showed me right there that this kid is ready to play, and he's only a junior. And so he has another year of maturing under him to go. Who knows what the future has for him in store here for this program, and then at the college level, if that's what he wants to do. But the Indians have to concentrate on the task at hand here. They have this game, I don't want to say well in hand, because there's a lot of football left. It is a 2-score game, but they certainly have the Whalers on the ropes right now, up by 2 scores. They are now having their foot on the throat of the Whalers, as the Whalers now are facing a 1st and 19, and here's Paul.
Here's Dozenberg calling signals, and the handoff to Frazier. Turns left, tackle at about the 35-yard line. Ethan Marks, one of the tacklers, along with Patrick Kane. I just want to get back to that Will Kelly. You know, you mentioned that play-action pass, right? And he didn't spend a lot of time faking the handoff. He just turned his shoulders for a second. He didn't even complete the fake handoff. He just kind of like made that little twerk with the shoulders, and it was just enough to freeze the linebacker.
And they committed. They took one step in, and all of a sudden they were frozen and they were caught like deers in the headlight. That was a gain of 2 yards, and now it's 2nd and a mile for the Whalers, and they're in big trouble here, Paul. They have to figure out a way to execute this offense other than a handoff to Jaden Frazier. We know Jaden Frazier is great, but the Indians can neutralize that.
Well, here's Dozenberg going into the pocket this time, looking for a read, fires over the middle, and it is off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Darius Harrison, and incomplete. Harrison had a lot of coverage around him, but the ball was there. Harrison had his hands up on the ball, but it'll go down as an incomplete pass.
Harrison almost had it, and it was deflected, and Will Kelly almost had it on the tipped interception. And this was just a straight back pass, to be honest with you, by Dozenberg. Nothing fancy schmancy here, and Will Kelly almost had it right there, as well as Marks. Marks almost had it as well.
So there you have a passing game being picked up here by New Bedford, and Dozenberg looking pretty comfortable that time, dropping back into the pocket, and I could tell him looking at all his reads and trying to find a spot to place the ball. But now it's 3rd and 17, and the Indians really have the Whalers where they want them. Little looping pass over to the right. He was looking for Frazier out in the flat, but that is going to fall incomplete. Unfortunately, from the Bedford point of view, not even really close to being a completion there.
And you have to punt now. There's no way. I mean, it's 4th and 17. You got to punt and hope your defense can get a quick stop, get the ball back, try to punch one in, or try to create a defensive takeaway here and an offensive turnover.
Right. I think from the Whaler point of view, you punt the ball,
try to pin them back.
Pin them back and try to get a turnover,
I
because
agree.
you need 2 scores in the 4th quarter, and they haven't even got one so far from the offense, only the defense, the Souza brothers. The defense coming up with the score. So here's the snap. In trouble. Not able to kick it away, but finally does is Ian DaCosta. And that was a terrific job to get that ball down to the enemy 37-yard line. Ian DaCosta in big trouble. Managed to get away and get off a decent punt.
It's harder than it looks to run and kick the ball like that. We talk about running and throwing the ball. How about running and drop kicking a ball, or running and kicking a ball in this case? Great play by DaCosta to just get it. Even though it wasn't probably the greatest of punts if he had his druthers, something was better than nothing to at least get it.
Here it is.
Into enemy territory. Yeah. Bad
Scoops
snap.
it up.
Yeah. Now he's like, I'm in big trouble here. And of course, the big boy is after him. We know who that is. That's Joshua Miller. Miller was ready to eat him for snack lunch.
You know what? He didn't even get his entire leg into it. It was only like a little boop. Like he didn't, his leg didn't go way up to his.
They call it a pooch punch.
Yeah, it was a pooch, and he still got 30 yards out of it. So, But great field position for Dartmouth, the way they've been moving the ball, right? They're at the 37-yard line. I mean, I think the Indians are in the driver's seat here.
Well, this is what you do now if you're Dartmouth. Pound and ground, keep it on the ground, and really wind down your play clock on every play, every series. Milk this clock now. If you do things right, even if you don't score, if you can at least shave 4 to 5 minutes off this quarter, you would have done your job. Of course, you want to punch in 6 or 7 or even 8. Regardless, put that aside. Say you don't. If you can get at least a first few downs here and keep the chains moving, I think that'll be a success.
So it's 1st and 10 here for the Indians. And as a handoff. Nice run for Dartmouth past the 50-yard line. Down to the enemy, 45, ball carrier number 22, Sal Esterlin. And Mike Fernandez making the stop for the New Bedford Whalers.
And Salnay Vesterlin on the sweep here. It was a split back formation into the offensive backfield. He gets the ball on the handoff, and you got to give credit to an excellent block up front. That's great blocking by the Indians, led by Landon Source, number 15, one of the wide receivers, paving the way. We always talk about the offensive linemen or the fullbacks for leading the way with the blocks. The wide receivers don't get enough credit, and that time, Landon did a great job.
Crane gets the ball, spins, turns, goes forward for a minimal gain, and the tackle contributing to it for the Indians, Bill Souza and Darren Rocha.
And we have another injury down on the field.
Had a few of those, unfortunately, in this game. And there'll be a break in the action as the Dartmouth Indian player is being attended to. 20-7, Dartmouth, 4th quarter. Paul Santos and Ian Abreu, happy to have you looking in. They got us set up outside in the stands because you can only have 2 people in the press box, and the 2 people are the PA announcer and the official. So the radio station, WNBH, is outside of the booth. We're outside of the booth, but it's such a beautiful night that it doesn't matter. This is nice out here.
It's beautiful out here, about 60 degrees. And as you mentioned, my old and your friend Ed Pereira called the game.
The big 101, baby.
You know, there's 3 things that are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and Ed Pereira doing a game on WNBH.
Yeah.
He is a New Bedford, South Coast institution. One of the best around, even a better guy. You're an okay guy too, though, Paul. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Speaking of an okay guy, look at Crane over there getting worked on, and he's okay.
You know what? It's the chili horses. It's got to be.
Yeah.
It's the same thing every time.
You know, I remember when his father was playing hockey for Dartmouth High School, and I was calling those games.
Oh my God!
I know, isn't that?
That's cool.
Yeah,
see it come
is
full circle.
I actually, he's not the only one. I have dozens of kids of parents that I announce their games, and the kids are playing. You know what? It gets scary is when the grandkids stop playing hockey. Then it's
time to hang it up, okay, Paul? All right, come on.
Second down. Oh, wait a minute. Timeout here. Timeout, Indians.
It's time for old Betsy to go out to pasture, I think, you know?
So obviously, Ian Abreu, he's a busy guy over there. He's a busy guy over in New Bedford. And we've been doing a thing over there. I guess I can mention that. New Bedford Guide, Paul Santos Live.
It, why not?
Got my Monday night comedy variety gig there going with Chops Turner.
You guys laugh a lot. I like it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's therapy for Chops and I. But we have a lot of fun. We have guests, and I always say we highlight the talented, interesting, and entertaining because sometimes on social media things can get down and things can get negative and things can get hyper political. And we thought, hey, so many talented people in the area, so many interesting people to talk to, so many things to laugh about and bring ourselves up. So that's kind of how it morphed into what it did. So I know we laugh a little more than we should, but we're having a good time and we're trying to, as I said, highlight the talented, interesting, and entertaining. So that's Monday night at 7:00. You go on Facebook, you go to Paul Santos Live, New Bedford Guide, Fall River Reporter. It's a live stream, about a half an hour. We have a few laughs.
Yeah.
And, we stay away from the politics, Ian. I know you have to deal with that all the time.
You can see me on the New Bedford Cable Network Facebook page about 4 times a week on city council meetings. But, you talk about politics, and this for me is a release as well because we're not talking about legislation and ordinances and all the hoopla in the back and the forth. And I love that. I love my job, and it's an honor to do it, but this is fun because this is sports.
It's a break from it.
This is the toy chess of news and stories. And
Well, I'm an attorney by day, so
Right.
being able to do the New Bedford Guide, Paul Santos live show, and do some
That's your
play-by-play,
release.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
is.
of it's like
Yeah, we.
I better be careful. I might get charged for
We're
an
giving plugs.
advertising
Yeah.
fee.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a show on a competing network. I'm talking about my show. Well, not my show, but my city council meetings on a competing cable access channel.
Oh, boy.
My lord.
Second down and 10 here for the Dartmouth Indians.
We're all friends.
The man in motion is Esterlin. And Kelly keeps the ball and is tackled immediately. But he's helped up there by the tackler. And that was number 15, Miggy Rodriguez, the linebacker, who got in there to make the stop. So it'll be third down and 12.
And it's not too bad. You've been able to get the ball into the Whaler territory. You would have liked to have seen maybe more time chipped off. They started this drive with 9:26. We're now going to dip just under the 8-minute mark. Hopefully the Indians can, if they can't get a first down here, which would be tough, if they can at least get maybe 6 or 7, pound the ball into deeper Whaler territory, maybe they go for it on fourth down here to try to really sink this thing.
Third and 12. Fake by Kelly. He was thinking to pass that time, but he had no time. And coming in with a hit, Bill Souza for one, along with
57, Souza.
a number 44 who's not on our roster.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I was looking at the
What
same
a play
thing.
he made. What a play.
What a play by number 44. I apologize to the parents or relatives. Not our fault. We don't his name's not on our roster, so we apologize.
But anyway,
But number 44 did make a heck of a tackle to breach in on the B gap there and drag down Kelly for the loss. It's
there he
4th and
is.
18.
You know who you are.
If anyone's watching live, any of my friends, if you know who number 44 is, send me a text, please. I want to get the name.
Yeah, that's right. We can do things like that
And
now
live,
with the technology.
or text Paul or text me, Facebook message. Just let us know who number 44 is if you can.
All right. That sounds good.
In fact,
Time out on the field.
I'm friends with Mark DeBrito's wife, Debbie Viveris, on
Okay.
Facebook. So, Debbie, if you're watching, you probably know all these kids. Send me a text,
All
okay?
right, let's see if we can do that. There's so many things you can do now with the media, right? You got text messages, you got emails. I know you in your profession and myself in my profession. I love having the emails. I love having the text messages. You know, you have Facebook and all that. But there are times where it is kind of overwhelming. You know, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of amazing. You know, my wife says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm answering emails. I'm practicing law. I'm getting ready for my New Bedford Live, Paul Santos live show. I'm getting ready for the football game, and I'm getting ready for a hearing." And it's like, you're doing all that at the same time? I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm doing 5 things at the same time.
So we have the mystery of the 44.
Okay.
The 44 is the 54 in our roster. That's Anderson Madrano.
Okay. You know what? I have a note here. I have a note here from the coach on this other paper saying just that. So it's totally on me. Anderson Madrano. The coach told me that, and I scribbled it in the wrong spot. How about that?
We call that a mea culpa.
No, I've got to be able to admit things. Here's Frazier. Frazier picks it up on the run and is banged out of bounds at the 40-yard line. He was hit.
The Whalers won. A
Pretty
flag
late.
called for a late hit out of bounds.
You see number
but
57 there who was kind of clapping in his face there, TJ Pickering in the special teams, but you see that Jaden Frazier clapped back in his face.
Well, the Whalers can clap all they want. They got to put points up on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
So swagger is good, but you got to put up. So now
put up or shut up.
Now is the time. No more funny business here. If you're New Bedford, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. 6 points at the minimum is needed right here and now. You're running out of time.
I think you got to get, the ball downfield, maybe give Dozenberg a chance to get one out there to Fernandes or something like that. You got Goodine to the left, Fernandes to the right. And you also have number 80. Goodine is out there as well. So it's 1st and 10. Let's see what Dozenberg does here for the Whalers. They'll stay with Frazier. Frazier has space up the middle. Frazier breaks it to the 40, to the 30. He's still on his feet. They're trying to catch him. Tackled at the enemy 15. Huge gain for New Bedford.
Finally brought down by Landon Soares. Go to your bread and butter. Go to who works best for you in your scheme. And that's the tailback, Jaden Frazier. Look at this cut. Unbelievable maneuvering. We talked about shades of Barry Sanders earlier. This is pure Barry Sanders. That's Curtis Martin all the way to the way he's cutting, the way he's strong, running downfield. Gain of over 30 yards for a first down at the Indian 16-yard line.
Right.
And now the Whalers are in great position. But every time we've said that, they've put up a goose egg. So we'll see what happens here.
Great blocking by the Souza brothers, in addition to Darren Souza and Aaron Cherry. First down and 10. Pass to the outside. Collected here by Goodine, but Goodine is tackled immediately as there was virtually no gain that time. Looks like Will Kelly, the quarterback, playing his defensive back position, coming up with a hit for New Bedford. And it looked like William Chow also back there for the Indians.
The Indians snuffed that out. They saw that screen pass coming a mile away. They anticipated. Dosenberg sort of tipped his hat because he took the ball. You could see his eyes right off the bat were going right. He wasn't looking up the middle, wasn't looking left to fake. He went to the right off the bat. And as he cocked his arm back, Will Kelly and company were already cutting toward Godine, who was already set there. The feet were planted, and he was making the catch, and we'll have a water break, I believe. Yes, water break.
All right, it's a water break on the field, correct, with 5:51 to go. We mentioned before the game that there are special rules for the student athletes in all the sports, and with regard to football, halfway through the quarter, all of the quarters, all 4 quarters, there is a water break. So the officials, when you get near the 50% of the quarter goes by, the officials will just call a random timeout.
Whatever that is. Right?
Whenever it happens to be, right in the middle of the quarter. And each team gets a 2-minute water break. So it's just one of the things. The other thing is the social distancing of the players along the sidelines. Players are encouraged, not to do things like spit all the time and things like, I'm serious. It's in there. Like athletes are encouraged not to do those kind of things. So it's working. We got a crowd here today, as we mentioned earlier. Parents, 2 parents of each player on the Dartmouth team can be present in the stands on the home side. And on the visiting New Bedford side, 1 adult can be here on behalf of each of the New Bedford players. So there are a number of players here, not empty, but we do have some fans here in the stands, and they've made some noise when this game has got exciting, and it's been exciting all the way through. So second down and about 12 for New Bedford. Big moments in the game here for the Whalers if they want to get back into it, trailing 20-7. Dosenberg looking at 3 wideouts, got Frazier next to him. And there goes Frazier. Frazier up the middle, trying to get some help from Souza, but
and down goes Frazier.
He's going to be tackled, yes. He's going to be tackled in that defensive backfield there by Ethan Marks for 1.
And Pat Crane was
Pat
there
Crane,
as well.
too, number 8, making the tackle.
I'll tell you, they've got some great athletes on both sides of the ball. Marks, Crane, Kelly, doubling on both sides.
Ricky White all fired up on the Dartmouth Indian side. Real competitor. Several trips to the Super Bowl. Last championship back in 2015.
Heck of a coach, producing NFL talent, Division I, college talent, Division I AA, collegiate talent. He knows what it takes to make it to the show and to compete.
3rd and 9 now for Ryan Dosenberg. Dosenberg in the pocket, looking toward the end zone, and the ball is going to be thrown down at the feet of the intended receiver. That was Brazil. You see him there floating Brazil, and the ball was well underthrown.
And to be honest with you, that's the first sort of messed up throw that Dosenberg has thrown today. Even the incompletions were on the mark. He had his man open. Brazil would have had the ball right into his chest, and he would have had a completion and close to a touchdown, if not a touchdown, if that ball was delivered.
There's Mark DeBrito.
Yep, and it wasn't tipped. It was just a one-hopper.
Mark DeBrito giving the play to Dosenberg. Real tough situation here now at 4th and 9. That's the thing. When you use Frazier, you can nibble away at some of that. Now with the incomplete pass, now you have to get 9. You can't, get half and get, 5 now and 4 later. You need all 9. So they come out with 3 wideouts to the right. Goodine to the left, and you have behind Dosenberg is Frazier. Dosenberg in the pocket. Throws over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. Well underthrown in front of Reneen Goodine, who was the closest receiver to it. and the Bedford Whalers turn the ball over on downs.
I'm not sure if that was a miscommunication on the play call or what happened there, but that ball was nowhere near Godine. And Godine was running an in route, an in cut, but he was doing it deeper into the end zone. And it looked as though Dozenberg maybe thought that Godine was going to be in cutting before the end zone where the markers were for the first down. Either way, an incompletion and a huge break for the Indians and another heartache for the Whalers. They've had several opportunities to punch it in tonight. The only touchdown they've had, again, was on that blocked punt and scoop-up score by the Souza boys that we talked about earlier today. And now the Whalers find themselves in big trouble here if they can't get a turnover.
1st and 10 for the Dartmouth Indians. Hand off to the near side. Here comes Sal Esterlin. He is tossed down by Bill Souza after a gain around the side. I was mentioning, the New Bedford Whalers, right? They were coming down the field. They were using Frazier a lot, and then they got down there and they threw those 2 incomplete passes. And doesn't it feel like the air just went out of the balloon? It just felt like 2 incomplete passes, and now Dartmouth's got the ball, and it's almost game over here.
Yeah, I mean, there's
great defensive stand by the Indians, by the way.
Well, the ball's at the 15, so it's 85 yards to go here for the Indians. If they play their cards right, they can wind down this clock, keep the chains moving in the process of doing that, and take this one to the bank. The Whalers need a turnover. They need one quick.
Will Kelly, inside handoff. Gang tackled right up the gut. Goes the Dartmouth Indian running back, and he's being pushed back. I think that might have been Ethan Marks, so that'll be a 3rd down coming up. Dartmouth playing it conservative here, of course. But, you're talking about looking for a turnover. I mean, Will Kelly and the Dartmouth Indian offense, they have been taking care of the football, as the Whalers call timeout. They've been taking great care of the football, not turning the ball over, not fumbling, not throwing wild passes. All the passes have been super crisp. So it's real tough to force a turnover because of the way they've played.
They had 1 turnover back in the first half. It was the fumble by Patrick Crane, but that was it.
Long time ago.
But besides that, great ball control, great clock management. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8 here. They're not going to throw the ball, obviously, but if they can do a nice sweep maybe and try to get to the outside, bubble it out, and get some nice blocking from your wide receiving core, whether it's Lance or someone else, to get to that first down. If you can get a first down here, this game is a fait accompli, as they say in French. This game it's all but a foregone conclusion. It'll be a win for the Indians. But, hey, if the Whalers can get a stop here deep into Indian territory, you never know. We've seen a lot of funky things happen with the punts here tonight. There could be a botched punt. Who knows?
Yeah, 3:50 is still a little chunk of time here. It's not over yet. A lot of crazy things can happen, but certainly the Indians are in the driver's seat, and they've played a terrific football game. And, we talked about quarterback Kelly coming in, first varsity game. A lot of juniors on this Dartmouth team, and I was speaking to Coach Rick White before the game. I asked him about his team, and he's like, we had a lot of juniors. And I was thinking, well, that's good, actually, because that means they're going to play this year, which is a limited schedule, unfortunately, but still 4 games of varsity. And then hopefully we get past the pandemic. All those juniors will come back next year.
Correct, yeah.
And they'll be able to have a whole year as seniors. I mean, can you imagine this group right here? So far, the Indians, I think they have something to look forward to next year, as do the Whalers. They have a lot of juniors on this team as well. Okay, let's take a look at 3rd and 7 for the Indians. Kelly's going to keep on the sweep to the 20, and he'll have a first down at the 25-yard line. The same call that our color guy here, Ian Abreu, said to do. Why don't we have a sweep, get a first down, and call it a game?
Well, whether it was a sweep by Marks or a sweep on the keeper by Kelly, either way, you had a feeling that could work as long as you were able to get it away from one of the Souzas, get the blocking up front, get around them, bubble it up.
Great play fake there.
Yeah, they were running the bubble on the outside there, and Mark DeBerto's going to burn another timeout to stop the clock, but I think a Indian victory is all but inevitable here, folks, and the Indians, unless a collapse of catastrophic proportions happens here, they're going to start off fall season number 2 and opening day here with a 20-7 victory and improve to 1-0 on the season. Good way to get things started.
And we talked how next week we'll be back right here on Dartmouth Community Television as the Dartmouth Indians play host to the Brockton Boxers. That'll be a tall order.
That's tough.
That game will be here at 6 o'clock as they moved it up from the original 7 o'clock time. So it'll be 6 o'clock. Actually, I like it at 6 o'clock. It's pretty good. You kind of get an early start.
I do too.
It's a little warmer. You shoot right over here. And,
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It was, I think you could almost see it wasn't even completely dark yet at 6 o'clock when we started this game. And actually, we're going to have daylight savings time, right? Are we going to have daylight savings
this
time?
weekend.
Yeah, so next weekend it'll be even, it'll be an hour earlier than it is
Believe it or
now.
not, we may not have that anymore, though. There's a bill, not to get political,
Did
but
you introduce that bill?
No, this is funny politics. Sheldon Whitehouse in Rhode Island and Ed Markey in Massachusetts introduced a bill in the Senate to get rid of daylight savings time.
I don't know. I'd rather keep daylight savings and get rid of standard time.
A lot of important stuff going on, so
This is an outrage.
Yeah.
4th and 1. 4th and 1, and it's going to be a punt for the Indians.
Ooh.
Getting the ball away is Graham White.
Bill Souza almost had that one, Paul.
Yeah, it looks like the kicker is limping a little bit, but the ball is collected here in midfield where the ball will be taken over here by the New Bedford Whalers. Yeah, so next week, right, when we start that game at 6 o'clock, it'll really be an hour earlier than it was this week. So the sun will be out. Hopefully it'll be a little bit warmer. Although you never know, it could snow next week for all we know. But
wonderful. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll have my snow boots ready to go.
So next week it's Brockton, 6 o'clock. Then there'll be 2 games on the road that Dartmouth Community Media will not cover. That's at Durfee and at Bridgewater Raynham. So let's see. I mean, the Dartmouth did beat New Bedford, so if they can, Brockton's going to be tough.
Brockton's going to be tough.
But if they beat Durfee, Bridgewater Raynham will be tough too. But if they can go 3-1, maybe they'll have a playoff game.
The thing about a city like Brockton, a team like Brockton, you have 120,000 people in that community.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly.
You're always going to draw in a diverse, talented pool because you have so many people in your city.
There's Dozenberg, and that was a great catch by Michael Fernandez. Yeah, I think Michael Fernandez pushed off just a little bit to create some separation, but he managed to bring the ball in, and that was one of the better passes we've seen all day from Dozenberg as he just beautifully dropped that one in the arms of Fernandez.
Just up along the sideline here, and it's just a jump ball. And Fernandez, I think you're right, a little bit of a push off there. It's one-on-one coverage, but the Whalers will take it, and the ball is now spotted at the 29-yard line. They have to hurry up here, though. They're taking a little too much time. They're huddling. They really shouldn't be huddling here. It's 3 minutes to go. They got to put up 2 scores.
1st and 10. New Bedford at the Dartmouth 30. Here's Dozenberg in the pocket. Nice crisp pass, incomplete, and that was a huge hit as down went Goodine, who really got op-ended as he was reaching up trying to make that catch.
Goodine had it, and as you see, his outstretched right arm just barely tipped it.
Tough hit.
And he hit the deck. Yeah, he got swacked. That's a combination of whacked and smacked. And
I think it was Crane, I believe.
He was knocked down by Pat Crane. I tell you, Crane reminds me of like a Patrick Chung there in the defensive backfield. Just a hard-hitting, laying the lumber down kind of a safety. And he is just taking no prisoners here tonight. And you can see right there, I mean, he was locked and loaded on Goodine. And, hey, that's a football play. They're going for the ball. Nothing dirty there. Because it obviously wasn't in completion, the clock does stop. 2:46 to go.
That was one of the benefits of going for the pass on 1st down. You have to see, they're going to get Frazier involved. You know that. And they're going to try to pass the ball as well. But they really need to get into the end zone quickly if they're going to challenge the Indians. The Indians still in the driver's seat. Dartmouth has played great defense. They have not allowed a touchdown all game long. The only score was a defensive score by the Souza brothers, basically. One blocking a would-be punt, and the other one taking it into the end zone for a touchdown. So really, the Dartmouth defense has just been fantastic all day, not giving up any scores at all against this New Bedford offense. So here we go. 1st and 10, New Bedford at the enemy 20. Dozenberg. Quick handoff inside to Frazier. Frazier down inside the 15 to about the 14. That was an interesting play. He dropped back like he was going to throw it. Then all of a sudden he took his left hand and did the handoff.
Yeah, I'm not sure even if it was a handoff or a shovel pass. I think it may have been a shovel pass.
Right, like Mahomes does.
To Frazier, yeah.
Yeah.
And Brett Favre was known for doing that a lot, too. He cocked back. He was ready to throw with the right arm, and he saw that, hey, Jaden's right in front of me. He's got a few yards to go. Boom. shovel it off with the left hand. We have
Timeout, Whalers.
a
As they
timeout.
continue to try to stop the clock and see if they can hang in here. Down to 2:30 to go. A very tough situation for New Bedford as Dartmouth trying to hang on. But yeah, I don't know. We've talked a lot about the Dartmouth defense, but when you look at a lot of the plays that have been made all game long and some of the great plays being made by Patrick Kane, by Will Kelly on defense, by William Chow, you mentioned. Ethan Marks has made some great plays on defense during the course of the game. So up and down that backfield, they've definitely had an answer for the New Bedford offense.
And I'm very impressed with the athletes here that this Dartmouth High School football program continues to cycle out. These are kids that are playing on both sides of the ball, folks. I want you to remember that. You've got your starting quarterback also out there laying it down, making tackles as a cornerback and a defensive back. You've got your starting tailback in Marks, who's a linebacker, and you have your starting wide receiver in Crane, who's a defensive back / safety. Unbelievable here when you really think about it. I mean, talk about water breaks. There's no water breaks for those guys. They're always out there no matter what.
Well, they have a water break, but it's 2 minutes and go back out there.
There's no sitting on the sideline here while you watch one side of the ball do its work. This has been a long time out here.
Yeah, one of the things, because of the pandemic, they have these special rules. Every single timeout is 2 minutes. You don't have the short one and the long one and the long one and the short one. They're all 2 minutes. So every time you take a timeout, it's 2 minutes. Water break, 2 minutes. At the end of the quarter, 2 minutes.
And
so that's made the game long.
And every time it's 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes more for me getting my face pizza.
There's a pass out to the flat. That's collected by Mike Fernandez. Fernandez inside the 10-yard line.
Gets the first down.
Just enough for the first down. So the Whalers go into the hurry up as they try to line it up before the clock continues to run. Right now the clock is stopped at 2:21.
The clock is not running. Rick White was yelling to run the clock when the ball was set.
Here's Frazier to the inside, trying to get some help from the Souza brothers and the rest of that offensive line. That's a decent gain up the middle, down to about the 3-yard line, and now a timeout is being taken by New Bedford.
And I kind of like what the Whalers are doing here now. They're going to their bread and butter. They're giving the ball to Jaden Frazier. That's what they have to do. No time now for cutesy wootsy. Give it to your rock. Give it to your guy and let him do his thing. Let him try to score. Get it into the end zone. Get the pay dirt. Get it within one score, and you're going to have a lot of time left. Try an onside kick or a pooch kick, and let's see what happens here. And don't forget, even if you try an onside or a pooch and you don't get it, you still have time to stop them here and not have Dartmouth run out the clock because you still have timeouts left. And remember, if you do get a first down, the clock does stop. So you want to try to obviously not let them get the first down, but even if they were to get a first down, the clock stops, and it gives you an extra opportunity to try to create some kind of havoc and a turnover. So the Whalers are actually in a pretty good spot right now, but it's all contingent on them scoring. They've got 4 yards to go.
So here comes Dozenberg. He's got Frazier next to him in the backfield. He has 4 wideouts, got everything spread out. And his first and goal at about the 3-yard line. Rosenberg going to pass. He throws, and it is knocked away. The intended receiver was Fernandez, and it was knocked away. Was that Will Kelly that got in there?
Kelly.
Kelly got in there and knocked that ball away. Kind of a surprise that they went to that pass to the corner of the end zone.
And I got to tell you, if Will came down with it, he was gone. He was going to be off to the races. Look at this play right here.
Maybe their thinking was that if they run it up the middle with Frazier and they don't get it, then the clock's going to continue to run.
Yeah.
The ball is now at the 5-yard line, about the 5-yard line.
Landon Soares was also there for Dartmouth, and if that was picked off, that would have been a pick 6 for Dartmouth. There was no Indian anywhere around that was going to stop them on that one. Huge break for the Whalers, 3rd and 5.
3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. The Indians trying to keep New Bedford out of the end zone. Rosenberg fakes, throws. Fernandez, and it is knocked down. Incomplete.
Would have been a touchdown.
Great defensive coverage that time by Landon Soares. Along with, looks like Kelly was back there too.
And Darren Dutra as well.
Darren Dutra is the one that knocked it down, number 13.
If Mike Fernandez comes down with it, it's a touchdown. It's 6 points. He had it, and Wango. Dutra was there, as well as you mentioned, Soares. And Soares was involved on that last deflection. And now this is the game right here. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is absolutely 100% the ball game. If the Whalers score, they're back in it. If the Indians take over on downs, they can just run out the clock here. Touchdown or bust.
See what New Bedford dials up. Rosenberg's going to have to pass it. He tries to run. He has some space, and he is into the end zone. It's a touchdown. Ryan Dosenberg finds some space and carries it himself, and he goes in for the New Bedford Whaler touchdown.
Wow, wow, wow. Dosenberg had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, had no receivers open. Great coverage by the defensive backs of the Indians. And Ryan Dosenberg said, you know what? I'm going to put the ball into the arm, and I'm going to take it myself, and I'm going to extend. I'm going to break the plane, and I'm going to slam it in because my team needs me. I'm the leader under center, and I'm going to show him how it's done. And he does it right there, and the Indians are now finding themselves in trouble.
Ian DaCosta with the extra point attempt, and it is good. That makes it 20-15. The problem from the New Bedford point of view, however, is that, 20-14. The problem from the New Bedford point of view is they need the ball, so you're looking at an onside kick here with 1:49 to go.
Will it be an onside or will it be a pooch kick just around the 50-yard line? We'll see what happens. Mark DeBrito will have an interesting strategy cooked up here. I can obviously confirm that because DeBrito will have a good play. So what you would normally do here is, look, if you're the Indians, got to get the hands team out, got to get Kelly, you got to get Dutra, you got to get Crane, you got to get all of your people that can catch and receive the ball and just hit the ground. Ethan Marks, they all have to be up front here. There's no doubt about it. Dutra, you know, you don't want to have any situation where someone maybe who's a lineman or a linebacker or a tight end that maybe doesn't catch the ball that much be up front. You want your good hands people up front, and that's what we're going to see right here. All the hands people for the Indians who can catch the ball are up front. They see what's coming.
Yeah, you can see right there. You got Ethan Marks, you got Landon Soares, Crane is up there. And kicking the ball will be number 40, who's been doing the kicking duties all day here for New Bedford, Ian DaCosta. So now, kicking off from his own 40-yard line. Let's see what happens.
The Whalers may try to pooch it past these two levels.
There it goes. It pops in the air, and it is going to be covered by the Indians. Let's see who came up with the ball. Number Dutra. 13, and that is Baron Dutra, the junior, and he comes up with the ball for Dartmouth.
And that's pretty much all she wrote, folks, for... Wait a minute. Well, we have an offside call against the Whalers, but they'll just decline it. It's irrelevant.
Absolutely.
We did have a flag, but it is offside. The Whalers had a little too much gumption there to get it. It'll be declined, obviously.
The Indians will take over. They'll be spotting the ball further downfield after they walk off the penalty. Ball's going to be placed at about the 35-yard line of New Bedford. Or are they going to kick again? Looks like.
Well, I heard the official. He said the ball was dead. The ball's officially dead on the on the encroachment. So there's nothing to decline because it was dead. So they're going to try it again. Let's see if that's a huge break though for the Whalers. They have a second chance at it.
That one really took an easy hop right into the breadbasket of Will Kelly. Oh, wait a minute, Nick. That number 8, that's Crane. So the Indians will take over now.
Now it's over.
You can see the cheers coming from the Dartmouth Indian sideline as they put together a solid game today against the New Bedford Whalers. Played very well on offense, defense. The parents in the stands over here watching the game.
You know the game is over when Lori Lowe's from the paper starts to head down to interview the coach. That's when you know it's over. See, there she goes.
So Will Kelly brings him out for a final time. It's been entertaining watching this young man. He played Pop Warner football here in Dartmouth and playing since a very young age, since he was a kid. Always wanted to
they'll just
have this job as quarterback for the Dartmouth Indians, and he's enjoyed it. And not only enjoyed it, but really impressed with the way he was able to drop back in the pocket and just drop passes down the field. I mean, perfect spirals right into the breadbasket of his intended receivers, and it's just been a joy to watch.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching him tonight, and I look forward to the game next week against Brockton. As you mentioned, a tall order against a first-class Division I, big, beefy team in a program that's been on top of the state rankings. Cripes, since I was a child, since you were a kid probably too, Paul. They've been around. And now we're getting chippy as breaching the line there on the kneel down, coming in for the Whalers.
Mickey Rodriguez.
Mickey Rodriguez. And no need for that. I mean, the game's over.
That was a knee play. And he went flying into the offense.
Let's be sportsmen here.
He's just going for a fumble there.
Yeah, on the kneel down.
Yeah, the kneel down.
Yeah.
So that was not well received on the other side. So 3rd and 13, 35 seconds left.
And Rick White telling his sideline, calm down, calm down. Well, I know a lot of them were fired up about that, but the game's over. No need for any shenanigans. You're going to win. Not worth any type of suspension or anything. Just cooler heads. That
was another thing. You don't have any kind of. There it is again.
Yeah, we have more knucklehead play going on here. More flags. Here we go. Well, and again, it's Mickey Rodriguez.
That's the second time that happened. And now Rick White is telling his players to come to the sideline. That was the last play of the game.
Mark DeBrito needs to get him off the field. He's too fired up and he's too emotional. And
right now, 14 seconds left with a penalty called, so that stopped the clock. You think that he did it that first time, the same player, number 15, Miguel Rodriguez, but then he went back and did it a second time.
Listen, I get it. These guys are all competitors. They want to win. They want to compete. Like I said, a lot of them probably know each other. But, hey, listen, the game is over. Just accept that fact and correct and right your wrongs and get ready to get after it next week. That's just the way it goes.
So 14 seconds left. And I saw both coaches trying to get their players to the sideline and just, calm everybody down, and they're going to run one more play.
All right, come on. Let's get this going here.
So it'll be the final play of the game. The Indians get their win. You see Rick White. He's fired up. He's a competitor, and he's
fiery coach. He's
won Super Bowls as a player and as a coach.
Well, like I said, he knows what it takes to get to the show. Okay, Coach Jordan Todman, Artie Lynch. We can just go on and on.
And they're going to run the clock out. And the game is over. The Dartmouth Indians defeat the New Bedford Whalers by a score of 20-14, and a big celebration on the sideline here as the Indians have a very satisfactory opening day victory against New Bedford. Look at that celebration.
Good to see. Good to see. Again, 470 days for these boys, and this is a culmination of that. They came out tonight. They were fired up, led, of course, by the great play of Will Kelly and his prowess under center, the throwing, the running, the great play up front by their offensive line, good defense led by Josh Miller, and, of course, as we talked about all evening long, the Indians have great athletes, folks like Crane and Marks and Kelly and many others who can double up on both sides of the ball.
There's Coach White.
And that's great to see both coaches there embracing.
At the center field, because they can't, they don't allow the players to line up and do the handshake. So they just have the coaches shaking hands at the center field. And there's the Glory to Dartmouth chant here by the Indians. Let's listen in for a second. That's a tradition here at Dartmouth. Quick recap of the scoring in the first quarter with 9:24 to go was Ethan Marks with a 15-yard touchdown run, but it was set up by that 30-yard bomb from Kelly to Dutra right in the middle of that drive for the 6-0 lead. There were two scores in the second quarter. The block by Beloy Souza on an attempted punt by Dartmouth, and then his brother, Billy Souza, picked it up in midair and took it into the end zone for a touchdown. That was the only score for New Bedford. And then Dartmouth, it was a 73-yard touchdown pass. 73 yards, that's correct, from Kelly
73,
to Baron Dutra. Just a bomb, and then Dutra ran it in for a touchdown. And that's when you knew that New Bedford was not going to get back into the game, that Dartmouth was going to take it to them. Dartmouth had the lead at the half, and then in the third quarter, Ethan Mark
gets the touchdown. Another long pass down the middle from Will Marks. Eventually, Ethan Marks got the touchdown by diving and reaching with his hand, breaking the plane with the football. And then Will Kelly got the 2-point conversion. And then it was Ryan Dozenberg getting a 5-yard touchdown run, scrambling in for New Bedford at the end. But it was really a good win. And actually, that score, 20-14, I don't think it's really indicative. I
No,
don't
it's
think
not indicative.
they got that late score. So it was really, the Indians really dominated the game and at the skill positions too. They really had a great game today.
And the Indian defense, really. We talked about Will Kelly and this offense and the great running of Marks today, but I don't think this defense has gotten enough credit. Again, led by Josh Miller, the inside linebacker. Anytime the Whalers looked as though they were driving and getting into the end zone and they were within the red zone, the Indians would white-knuckle it. They would get a 4-down territory stand. They would stop the Whalers dead in its tracks. They did that several times tonight. They certainly held their ground. They're going to have a tall order next week against the big bad boys from Brockton, the Boxers. Paul, you and I will be here to call that game next week. Should be interesting.
And we'll be looking forward to it. The final score, again, it is Dartmouth 20 and New Bedford 14. I'd like to thank my partner, Ian Abreu, and all of our DC TV staff for bringing you this action live on YouTube, courtesy Dartmouth Community Media. I'm Paul Santos. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next Friday night for more Dartmouth High School football on Dartmouth Community Media. Good night from Dartmouth Memorial Stadium.